District attorney went off the rails. Innocent until proven guilty. Never came out of his mouth. That is outrageous. We are outraged. Before any trial has occurred, he announced the defendant's theory of the case is a desperate attempt to reassign guilt. That is outrageous. We are outraged. He provided a false notice of discovery, claiming he did not know. We now know that was a lie. That is outrageous. We are outraged. This court should be outraged. Everyone should be outraged. That is outrageous. We are outraged. District attorney went off the rails. Innocent until proven guilty. Never came out of his mouth. That is outrageous. We are outraged. He provided a false notice of discovery, claiming he did not know. We now know that was a lie. That is outrageous. We are outraged. This court should be outraged. Everyone should be outraged. That is outrageous. We are outraged. That is outrageous. We are outraged. This court should be outraged. Everyone should be outraged. Outraged. That is outrageous. We are outraged.
Hello, everyone. It's a week we'll never get back, duck, duck, I agree. Joanna, thank you. I like that song too. And it's Yanetti's own words. So that's what I think I like most about it. Let's go back here. So if I sound a little tired, it's because I am. I just woke up. First coffee, brain dead. You know how it goes. So I need the latte lady here to send us some more lattes. Anyway, Kevy's on the screen with us today to help me with my brain deadness this morning. Thanks for joining us, Kev. Oh, he's still muted.
Yeah, still muted. Sorry, I was typing away there. Smart comment to Colin.
Hello, everyone. Surfs are we? Debbie Ray from Massachusetts. Bella. Kevin, of course, is with us. Bella, Colin, Duck Duck, and Joanna so far. So, Ozzy, I got my pizza. Bring another bottle. Woot! I don't actually drink Duck Duck, but you can have it. You can have that bottle all by yourself. All right, Kevy, what the fuck happened today? What the fuck?
I have no idea. I just woke up.
You too.
Brandon made a dick of himself.
Right.
I think
we were expecting petulant child, and we got it right.
Yeah, 100%. He was treating this ogre like a hostile witness. He was attacking him and very aggressive with him when there was no need to be. This ogre was very obliging, very forthcoming with the answers.
Grizzy cow. Lon Solo, sorry for interrupting you. Just shouting out hellos. Yeah,
I'm convinced Lon Solo's stalking me.
He's stalking you. You following KV Lon Solo? Was he in Jenny's stream earlier? Was he?
He was. Yeah.
Good. I'm glad you're just supporting some of the smaller channels. Love it. Thank you, guys.
It's a great channel. It's a great channel.
Debbie, what the fuck happened? Hank was an absolute a-hole, wasn't he? So this is what I think happened. He watched how, Alessi's doing his crosses, but Alessi has a reason to be pressing because he's impeaching the guy. The guy's avoiding the questions. So Alessi's getting slightly aggressive. I wouldn't say rudely aggressive, but he is getting slightly aggressive because the guy's dodging answers. Whereas
Yeah.
Hank's
It's
getting
warranted.
yes
Yeah.
and no straight answers out of this guy. He's not dodging anything. He's just answering his questions. But Hank's treating him the same way. It's like, no, dude, that's not how it's done. Idiot.
Yeah, it's there was no need for it, and it's not going to sit well with the jury.
Right, because the jury can see as well as we do that the guy's giving him the answers. That he's not battling him. He's not dodging. He's not doing what the other guy was doing to Alessi. So the jury's going to see that.
Yeah, but that's the defense attorney and Brennan coming out. We saw it in some of the pre-trial and some of the videos and that where he pulled that shit, and we all thought it was maybe an act for the voir
Right.
It's translating into the courtroom now in front of the jury, and it's not going to end well for Brennan. I don't think.
God, I hope so. I hope the jury's paying attention. Thank you, Duck Duck. I love chasing too. Boston born and bred. You can tell by our accent. If you don't know who Chasing is, look up Chasing Truth on YouTube. It is a quieter channel if you like a slower chat where you can actually read what people are saying and it's not flying past 100 miles an hour.
She has a new series that she's dropped there called Before Karen Reid, and she dropped the second episode of it there. I think it was yesterday or the day before. I started watching it this morning.
Oh my God, Lonsoli, that's exactly what I was thinking. There was a few times there I was like, wait, that's actually against your experts, not against the Sogra. I was thinking.
Yeah. That's exactly it. He was arguing against himself continually, and he doesn't realize it. He doesn't realize it.
No, because he doesn't get what his experts actually testified to. That's why he wasn't asking them questions. He was just letting them narrate their report because he doesn't get what it is that they're presenting. He doesn't get the data. And then now he's doing this cross. You can tell he doesn't get the data because he keeps trapping himself. Let me just say, Joanna, I was sitting there straining so hard to listen to what Hank was asking DeSogra, like, because he kept walking away from the mic and he was walking around the room. I couldn't hear his questions. And the next minute, judges like at the defense, speak up or the fan gets it. I was like, get the fuck out of here. We just missed half of what Brennan said. I couldn't believe it. Hey, couldn't believe it. She's fucking annoying me too. The jury must be annoyed. Absolutely. Twonk. I love it. Cozy Cal. He's a twonk. So, what the hell was going on after they fucking let the jury out? That wasn't even a voir dire? I don't even know what the fuck that was.
Say that again, sorry. I'm typing something here.
What the fuck went on after she let the jury out? Like, that wasn't even a voir dire. I don't even know what that was. What was it?
It was to do with the admissibility of the group chats between Proctor and his buddies.
It was Judge Bev who ruled on them being allowed to get Proctor's fucking texts. So why is she now saying it might be inadmissible? She ruled, yes, you can have Proctor's texts.
It's probably in response to a motion from Brennan. I would imagine it's in response to a motion from somebody.
And then I agree with what Melody said. They're putting the burden on the defense to explain why it's admissible when it's actually the prosecution who should be explaining why it's not admissible. I said that all backwards. She's reversed the burden. She's basically saying the defense has to prove why it is admissible, when it's actually the prosecution who has to prove that it's inadmissible. That's what I was trying to say.
Correct. It's the defense is entitled to put on a case and call a witness.
Right.
It's not. I forget how Yannetti put it in his response to Brennan. It was something along the lines of, "It's not for the prosecution to decide which witness is satisfactory for the defense's case. It's for the defense to decide which witness they call."
Exactly.
Brennan was trying to say that bringing in Guardino to read the text was sufficient enough, and Yannetti was arguing it wasn't. So I wasn't really paying attention at the very end, and it was very short, but that was the general gist of it.
I followed Desogra too very carefully, Tracy Grover, but I'm in on the text, so I don't know how other people followed it if they aren't up to date on the tech or they're not tech savvy. So it's good to get the feedback from you guys, how you soaked it in. So
yeah.
So I don't know. There's so much fucking wrong with what Bev's doing here. So on top of all of that, so I think it started with the defense's motion for a directed verdict, right?
Oh, hold on a second. Coke Fairy just popped in there. The voir was to get the Proctor test in and the ME's report in. She was to make a decision on that by 4:30, so the decision should be out. I'll scour X there.
The ME's report she was going to make a decision on. I don't know what she decided with the Proctor. The problem I've got with the Proctor shit is that she let the Proctor texts in last trial. She ordered Proctor to hand over his text, didn't she? Wasn't it her that made that order that Proctor had to hand over his text?
Well, I think the texts were already handed over in the FBI dump.
In the FBI dump. See, I can't remember.
Oh, you just kicked yourself there, Ozzy. Yeah, I believe it was in the FBI dump that the text messages came. I think she ordered the Proctor to come in to read, or she gave the approval for Proctor to come in and read the text. Come back, Ozzy, I forgive you. So what do you all think of what happened today with Desogra? Do you think Brennan landed any punches? Do you think he was a complete disaster? Did he shoot himself in the foot? I personally think he did. I think he was terrible today. And if it bodes well for the future, if this is the way he's going to behave with witnesses. Right. Ozzy's having difficulty there. She's having difficulty with audio. You might want to mute your sound there for a minute. Yeah, just as you thought Brennan was going to land a punch there today, there was a few times it looked like he was going to. He just took a right turn and went off, getting bogged down in tabs and labels and colours, and which I think was just only confusing the jury. And he just completely reminded us. Poor Aussie's having technical difficulties here. The gremlins are at her. The Aussie gremlins. Tracy. What I got of it, Snake Boy shot himself closer to the crotch than his foot. Brilliant. Brilliant. Well, I was saying it to Ozzy earlier on. It could be summed up in a couple of sentences. Brennan was not good today. He didn't do himself any favors at all. He was treating DeSogra like a hostile witness when there was no need to. DeSogra was forthcoming. He was answering the questions he was being asked as best as he could. So the jury looking at it are going like, "What the hell's this guy at?" The koalas are chewing on her antennas. Yeah, he was such a refresh. I was looking at X at the same time as the trial was going on just to see what was coming up there. And a very funny thing, I saw a post from Larry Foreman, the DUI guy, and the post was, "I didn't realise I was testifying in the Karen Reid trial today." And then I went back and I looked at the Soger and I looked at Larry, and by God, they look like twins. I don't know if anybody else noticed that. But yeah, De Soger was a great expert. He was very affable, as we would say, very likeable, non-combative. You know, he's a queer contrast to Welcher for a start, prick number one. We might show that a little bit later on, Buffy Zone. I'll have a look for it when Ozzy's back on. Coolest frozen ground. Yeah, he was, Norman. He was very good. And again, I think the timing of that witness was perfect, coming straight on the heels of Welcher and Burgess, while everything's still fresh in the jury's mind. Because that's the most complicated part of the data, in my opinion, as a layman. Ozzy is a great grasp on the data, a much better one than I do. Yeah, a lot of people in the chats. I was in a few different streams today, and a lot of the chats were commenting about how he didn't need the laptops. He didn't even need to refer to the reports very much, which again was refreshing. He didn't. He wasn't speaking over the judge or talking to the judge or at the judge. Now that the jury have somebody to contrast Welcher to, I think they'll come down on the side of De Sogra. I hope they do. Yeah, you're right, Kofi. He was nervous at the start, but that's understandable. It's an intimidating place to be in a courtroom. I've been in a courtroom a few times myself. Not for anything criminal, just civil matters, and it wasn't me being sued, but it's still terrifying. Very daunting. Thanks, Ian. But what if my experts thought it was wrong and thinking he was scoring a point? Yeah, correct. While all along, that's exactly what he was doing, was highlighting that it's quite possible his experts thought it was wrong. And I think on one or two occasions he did prove it. Or he helped the Soger prove it. So I don't know where you got that information from, but it'd be interesting if it's true.
How am I now? Am I better?
You're sounding perfect.
Jesus fucking Christ.
Where?
Major hassles. I let the battery run out. I didn't see the little notice saying, "Your laptop is about to die," and then it died, and then something comes back to life. It fucks with my sound real good.
Yeah.
So Thank you for
There's
hanging
the
on
odd
there.
little flicker. There's the odd little flicker in your sound, but it's not. It's bearable. It's nothing major. Nothing to worry about.
All right, bear with me for at least, I don't know, 10 minutes till I get this battery back up. I think it's from the power being connected.
Yeah, no problem. It's not an issue. Just making you aware of it. That's all. I might ask you to repeat yourself.
Yep. All right. As soon as I got enough power back, I'll just pull the plug. So, did you get some coffee? No, I didn't. I just like freaked the fuck out because everything broke. All right. So, where was I? Oh,
Yeah,
I don't
Debbie Ray was just saying that just when you came back in there. That's what we were talking about. She said she's hearing that some of the jury are car buffs, so I think they were interested. Like I said earlier on, Sue O'Connell was in there for a couple of hours between the small break and lunch,
Right.
and she was saying all the jurors were alert, taking notes, and very interested in what was being said, and that was Brennan's cross.
Yep. I got a ton of people reminding me that it was from the feds. So there you go.
Yeah, it was the Fed dump for Proctor's text or the group text.
Right.
First text
I
message,
thought
yeah.
it was Bev, but she refused to do it. She must have.
Well,
I remember the
I think
motion. Sorry.
there was a motion to get Proctor to come in to allow the messages in.
No, I'm talking about way back, like pre-trial 1.0.
Yeah.
I remember the original motion for his messages. I think obviously she said no, and then the feds got him anyway.
Right.
Jurors are paying attention, many taking notes. Juror who pays attention to numbers and math is writing.
Sue O'Connell, yeah.
Yeah. That's at the start. So it's almost 3:30 p.m. Court ends. Witness is done. No.
She was only in from after the morning break until lunchtime. Somebody gave her their ticket to sit
Right.
in the journal. So it was literally only Brennan's cross she was in for. So all the jury comments
laugh. Did the jury laugh when Welcher said yesterday, "Oh my God," in response to his testimony ending? She's like, "Yes, biggest laugh of the trial so far."
They don't realize that everybody was laughing at him, not with him.
Exactly. Let's go. Jurors all looking and listening. Jackson and Reed are talking at the defense table. Eight or 9 jurors taking notes in the dark as DeSogra testifies about the trigger moment. So you're right, they did take notice of the trigger moment. Brennan publishes DeSogra's analysis on the screen. Jurors are looking. 15 jurors write in their notebooks. Wow. As Brennan and DeSogra asked DeSogra about clock variances, there are currently 7 court officers in the courtroom. What the fuck's that about?
There was something going on there. I missed it, but I caught a little bit about it. There was something about Mr. Reed, Karen Reed's father.
Something about Mr. Reed.
Yeah, I threw a joke in there that to the 7 officers being in. Karen Reed's dad must be getting antsy again. I think there was something about him getting angry with Welcher or getting angry with somebody. I don't think there was anything to it. I think it was just a load of bullshit on X. Somebody in chat might know more about it than I do.
No, there's no comments about it. Maybe they've been tipped off what a McGalbert is trying to take down Paul Lucky. That a McGalbert is trying to take down Paul Lucky before he has a chance to bury them. What? Sorry, I'm just reading rumors, guys. All right, let me just...
There's been a lot of crap today. There's been a lot of crap online. Jenny was reading out a lot of the troll stuff there on the stream.
Yep. In the past 5 days, I won. Oh, yeah. I'm not seeing anything about it. Allowed per bev. Read Dr. Turtleboy. The defense noticed that intends to call Kelly Diva as a, I think it's Denver, but she's a diva, as witness in the case. The Commonwealth moves pursuant to Mass Crim 14 for all written communications, including prior inconsistent statements and a number of all oral communications made to any member of the defense team. Oh, so they're actually asking for expert witness communications again. They don't have any right to ask for that stuff. Howie Carr. We knew Hank Brennan would be bad on cross, but he did better at Whitey trial with Stevie Flemmy, who finally told him, "You're an attorney, Mr. Brennan. You should know more than you do. I'm going to have to explain it to you how it is in the real world." And DeSogra just did the same. You're just more polite than Stevie. Harry Carr's actually watching. He's not streaming the trial, but he's actually watching the trial, like as it goes down. So, hello, Tony O'Rourke. Timberman. Ozzy, any thoughts on Brennan referencing signal messages between AJ and Arca? Could this open the door to the feds re secrecy of the relationship between Arca and the feds? I think Brennan's problem is the secrecy of the relationship between Arca and the defense, or the defense and the feds. But I think if he pushes, I don't see. Brennan seems to be really fumbly, like a clown with big feet. I can see him accidentally stepping in it. So I think that there could be some doors open going on. He's just going to put his foot in it. We can hope anyway. Trigger agreement seemed funny to me, since it didn't happen till hours later, if not a day later, by the state police. Right, 30th is it was Burgess's guesstimations, wasn't it? Did you see the video on Justice for John O'Keefe and Karen Reid on Facebook? It's a TT on video camera over John's garage, 507. Karen backs out, taps John's car and leaves. Then a Canton PD.
That's an old one. That's that conspiracy thing about the cop car coming in the distance. You did a video on it debunking that whole thing.
That's actually a load of bullshit, Debbie Ray. Made by Turtle Boy's favorite Jesus, the video Jesus. We've already debunked that, so. And it's not a white car with a blue stripe and red and blue lights on top. If I tell you, here's a really fuzzy picture, can you see an alien with one eyeball on top of his head wearing pink gloves? Then you're probably going to see it. That's how the power of suggestion works. But no, the reason I debunked it is because when this is something I've done multiple videos about, but I'll just do a quick recap. When you have a computer screen showing the original file, you're getting in the courtroom, you're getting a visual of the original file on that computer screen. But what we're seeing out here is a pool camera filming a video screen way across the other side of the room, which may or may not be in focus at any given time, which this cameraman seems to be really bad at. And then it's being streamed at really low quality out to the internet. So it's creating artifacts and shadows and things that aren't in the original video. What I do have, though, is the original 507 backout footage, and it's not in that footage. It's actually it's one of those trucks that dumps salt on the road, or it might even be a plow. Pretty sure it's one of those trucks that dump salt on the road. So different colored lights. Anyway, that's right, Norman. It was a public works vehicle of some sort. I meant, if he asks the question, will Arca say that their client in trial one insisted on encrypting messaging? the client being the defense, because I'm just a little confused, because their original client back in trial 1 was actually the feds. It wasn't until after trial 1 concluded that someone sent a bill out and they were like, should we pay it? So that at that point, I don't think ARCA considered the defense to be their client. I think they considered the feds to be their client. But this is what I mean about Hank can accidentally step in it, because if he's of the opinion that the defense was their client in trial 1, and he says something like that, and ARCA comes out and goes, no, the feds were. Do you get what I'm saying? That's how I think he could step in it. So too bad it was debunked. Could have been a great dash camera video showing the tail light intact. Too bad for that. Right. Yep, all good, Debbie. So the cameraman is always pointing where you don't want him. Exactly, Kylie. I feel like throttling this one. I don't know who the fuck it is, but it's not the same dude that did last year. Like last year, they were on top of everything. And you know, when the defense or the prosecution said next slide, they were already moving onto the screen to show us what was on the screen, right? That, yeah, I feel like throttling this cameraman. He's a pain in the fucking ass. What do you reckon,
He's
Ken?
terrible. He's absolutely terrible. He's missing half of the stuff on the screen.
Mm-hmm.
Number one. I'd love to see him show Bev, but I'd say Bev would fire him if he did, because I'd love more of those gotcha moments with the signal.
Yeah. Jen the Couch Fairy. I heard there was a ring camera video of the Lexus launching into space. Unconfirmed, though.
All right. Yeah. Ground control to Major Tom.
Right. I agree, the feds being the client. Yeah, so I think he can accidentally step in it if he's not careful. And he doesn't seem to be careful. He seems to be clodding around the courtroom in clown shoes and knocking shit over.
Yeah, I'd love to see maybe Wolf walk in with a T-shirt on saying I work for the FBI and all I got was this lousy T-shirt. But here's one, and I've never seen this question asked nor answered. I brought it up on X a few days ago, and a few people commented on it. You know how they ask about the background and who have you done work for? Could they not say the FBI along with a list of others, that they've worked for the military, they've worked for the FBI, they've worked for police agencies?
Well, I don't know how they're going to go about it this time, but I believe they've got actually a little bit more leeway to say a bit more than they could in the previous trial from the feds themselves. So it depends on what the feds said they could say, because Judge Bev doesn't to rule on what the feds are allowed to say.
It's a separate thing, though, Ozzy. The feds had limitations.
I realise that, but if ARCA accidentally blurts it out, Judge Bev can't put the shit back in the horse. If if ARCA accidentally blurts it out, then they've been given more clearance by the feds. Do you get what I'm saying? That's what I'm suggesting.
Oh, I get you. They're not in trouble with the feds, but they could get in trouble with the court for doing it.
Yeah, well, court can't do anything to them.
She can. She could sanction the defense for it.
She could sanction the defense, but not the ARCA guys.
Not only that, it wouldn't look good for ARCA for future business, for being taken into court cases, etc.
Well, the only way it would look bad for ARCA is if, because like how many of the Commonwealth witnesses blurted out feds in the last trial? It was at least 2 or 3 of them said it last trial.
You see, you're looking at two different beats there between Aperture and ARCA. ARCA are principled. They're going to stick by the rules, and they're not going to bend the rules for nobody. Their reputation is everything to them. Aperture would do cartwheels, bend over backwards, and shag up the arse if you asked them to.
Right. I'm thinking that the only thing ARCA would be worried about is client confidentiality, and the FBI was their client at that point. But yeah, you could be right. They might just be totally professional and go, no, judge said no, so we're not doing it. You could be right.
Yeah. They're not, because at the end of the day, they only got 23 grand out of the defence. They're probably getting something similar for the retrial, maybe a bit more. For a company the size of Arca, that's a drop in the ocean. They're not going to sully their reputation with courts and with other law enforcement agencies for the sake of one case.
So if you all want to know who Kelly Diva is, I did actually publish a video, Who's Kelly? Let me have a look. And it's very interesting because I have a feeling Hanky should be having a little bit of a meltdown. What the fuck is going on? Hang on. View your channel.
What's wrong?
Customize your channel. I'm trying to get into, because I had to shut everything down. I'm locked out of everything. So just give me 1 sec so I can get in. I'll tell you what the video is called. It's called Who is Garrett Wing? I've got that one. Who is Holly Price? Sorry, I got the wrong one. So who is, hang on. Who is Kelly? Wait. I got the names mixed up, guys.
Norman Corey said she was the Canton cop dispatcher that night and left to become.
Oh, she got fired right after. I know who she is. You know, when we were looking at them taking the tail light out of the car and everyone was going, who's that other lady? Everyone piped up, who's that other lady? That's who she is. She got fired. Kelly Diva that's who she was. I got the names mixed up, her and Holly Price. Anyway, I did do one on Holly Price. I don't know if they're still going to call Holly Price, but Officer Diva was working as Canton police officer on January 29th, 2022. There's radio transmission, purportedly from the morning John O'Keefe's body was discovered, of Lieutenant Paul Gallagher calling her and saying that an unnamed lieutenant, Canton PD lieutenant, wanted to see what address on Fairview Road the first responders had arrived at. She told them 32. This was like
Norman's right. She was the dispatcher. She was the dispatcher the night of the death or the incident. Into the morning.
Thank you, Norman. Yeah, not the female who entered while they were doing the thing, because that might have been Chief Rafferty actually.
Yeah, I think that was Paul Gallagher, was it? Was he one of the first? He was one of the first on the scene, wasn't he?
Paul Gallagher, yes, Lieutenant Paul Gallagher called her, saying that an unnamed Canton PD lieutenant wanted to see what address on Fairview Road the first responders had arrived at, and she told him 32. Oops, Brendan even spelled her name wrong. I know, and Denver. I know. When I was just reading it out, I read it from the motion Denver and went, no, it's Diva. I'm sure it's Diva. Okay, I'm reading some of Aidan Carney's posts. In court today, where Lucky Loughran, former Canton cop and current BPD Kelly Diva, and one of Proctor's group text friends, expert, then all to be called tomorrow.
Yeah, Lucky was there today, apparently.
Yeah, I was looking for the goss on who was trying to attack Lucky. Someone wrote something about that, but I don't know if it was just goss.
I know Aidan was trolling DePietro outside the courtroom again today. It was hilarious.
Howie Carr. Do we want to listen to the Howie Carr? Howie Carr is live. Let me see if Turtle Boy's on yet. He's usually only on for a couple of minutes, just giving the rundown, but we'll see. We'll see what's on there. And if he's up, we'll rewind it a little bit and listen to Turtle Boy on there. It's taking a little while to load. Come on now. Might have to give it a little egg along. Come on now. Let's go. Come on. You can do it. I wonder what's wrong with it. It's the twirly life of death. It might be because I am streaming and using up a lot of resources here. Kev, what are you doing?
You want me?
Yeah, but you got no audio.
Oh, sugar, yeah.
Come on, let's do it. X has been playing shocking today.
Something did change, but it's only given me the option to play your fence stream for some reason.
All right, I'll give it a shot. We'll put yours up and see what happens.
Right, what do you want? Send me the link there so I can copy it in.
If you couldn't get the YouTube audio to play, you're probably not going to get this one because it's the same thing. It's sharing a tab. If you're only getting share window at your end, then it's not going to work.
No, just bear with me for a second. It's changed. I've got an extra option here since the last time we spoke.
Oh. Ta-da!
In them courtroom, 25 judges.
No, did you hear that?
We can hear it.
No, that's not. I don't know why that started playing. It shouldn't have done that.
Okay.
Stream. Here we go. Allow. Aha! We have something happening. Right. No, it's doing the same thing here.
You're stuck on the same thing too.
Yeah, so it's not your internet. It's not your internet.
Dang. All right.
But we figured it out. Ozzy, we're geniuses.
All right, let's go back and try Howie Carr on the actual show. I forget how to get there now. Howie Carr show.com.
Why is that showing up on the screen now? Why is that video showing up on? Oh, I'm sharing my screen. That's why.
Howie. About Howie Carr. Grace Stall. Listen, here we go.
Yeah, I'm still getting the same loading screen here. I'd say it's probably his. I wonder if his stream ended or something, or is there? It must be an issue on his end.
Listen now. Oh, that's an ad. All right, let me share this.
Corn Pope was saying there's a problem. Hi, Corn Pope, by the way. Yeah, it's going through a loop here. It keeps going back to the reload screen and then on its own.
Yep, I'm not.
Is he on YouTube or anything?
Happened to Corn Pope too. X has been all over the fucking shop. No, it's on his website as well, but you got to go. You don't get like a marker where he brings in Turtle Boy. So, just a little while ago, my entire X was down, except I wasn't getting any, replies or anything. All I was getting was what channels I'd subscribed to. So there's weird shit going on.
Yeah, it's not. It's still doing exactly the same thing here. It's not changing. I've reloaded and shut the browser down and reopened it again. It's clearly his end. the fact you're in Australia, I'm in Ireland.
Ozzy, how easy would it have been for someone to get a rear taillight from the local Lexus dealership 12 minutes away to scutter on the lawn would need to have original light. The problem is they would have had to have pieced it back together to fit her car and the pieces that were left on her car. So, not easy. Welcher was going to do the dummy test to back into, but Burgess left town too quick. He was out. The dummy exited the building.
Rumor has it he's down at SpaceX looking for the next trip to Mars in the Tesla.
Right. Yeah. All right, so just reading through Dr. Turtleboy's post for today, because I do believe he was in the courtroom today. I do believe. I think it's
in the courtroom, sorry?
Sorry?
Who was in the courtroom?
Turtleboy.
Don't think he was. He was at the courthouse, definitely at the courthouse, but I'm not sure he was in the courtroom. Find out now in 2 seconds.
I know Machado and Carney both won seats for a change.
For next week. Jess Machado or Jen.
He was in there because people were saying, where did Turtleboy go? And someone said he had to go and pick his kids up.
No, you could be right on Turtleboy, but I know 100% Jess Machado, she won the lottery for next week. She said it in her own post.
Yeah.
And I believe Aidan was first alternate for next week.
Oh my God, this is funny. All right, I got to share this. He's trolling John DePP again.
That was funny again. DePietro doesn't know how to handle.
1-2 in the Turtleboy corner over here. So I think things are going pretty well in there for the defense. What?
Listen, Turtle.
You're interrupting my broadcast. I'm live on Facebook. I'm live. I was live first. I'm live first. Why would I go to jail? I've been live before you. You don't even know. You don't follow me on all the platforms. What? I mean, you're more than welcome. You're interrupting my broadcast, so I'm just trying to do a broadcast.
Yeah, but you don't have to do it right here.
But I like it right here.
But don't interrupt my guest that I'm going to have.
Just
I have attorney Stephanie Murphy.
Oh, I have attorney.
Nobody.
What's his face? We can get an attorney on there if you want.
No, you don't.
I mean, it's my broadcast, John.
Matt Johnson's calling you over there.
I don't know. Because I don't. There's no room over there, and this is the Turtleboy corner. Okay, so. What? John, we're just trying to please stop interrupting the broadcast. FCC regulations. We're trying to do some
I'm on the radio, so you got to watch your language.
I know, but you got to watch your language. I'm on Facebook Live, okay?
That doesn't matter.
It does matter because it's against the Facebook rules. It's against the Facebook rules. It is. You know it is, John. I know. You got to take it easy on the witness intimidation, okay? So we're just trying to do a broadcast. Yeah, John, we're just trying. So anyway, we're trying to do a broadcast here. Doing a broadcast about, I don't know, how do you guys think court's going? I think it's going pretty well for the Reed team. I think that Matthew DeSogra is an excellent witness for the for the defense, rather, not the prosecution. And it's like Wimbledon in there. Hank is trying to fire in some serves, but DeSogra's just using that beautiful backhand of his to just hit him back over and over again. And
let me just pause for a second and tell you, the peepee's in that little alcove. So any noise that Turtleboy's making is echoing in his little alcove where his camera is. It's pretty funny, yeah. But we've actually got the opposite side of this from the peepee's camera. So hang in there. We'll just watch this first.
Yeah, I can't think of the woman's name. She's one of the protesters. She wears glasses.
Yeah.
She appears at one point in this video with a sign, stop corruption or something. And it really gets him on DePietro's up his nose.
Well, send us that link too. But
Let me tell you, folks,
we'll
Yeah,
do
yeah,
we'll
that's
do
very nice.
DePietro's other side of this conversation as well when we're done here.
jury is eating out of the palm of Matthew DeSoger's hands right now, and they just look flustered. And it's like they're ready to acquit Karen Reed. They are. That's, I saw one woman actually mouth. I can read their mouths, and one of them is actually saying, I believe she said, "Wow, this little dick weasel Hank sucks," and I was aghast. I was aghast by what I was witnessing. So. We are live on Facebook right now for doing our live broadcast. It's being interrupted. I'm trying to be in the middle of a broadcast, and I'm trying not to have my broadcast interrupted here. So this is brought to you by this broadcast is brought to you by Free Karen Reed Defense Fund. So, folks, let me tell you, Hank Brennan is having a tough day in there. He really is. It looks like he's about to quit. I don't know if he's really built for this at all. John DePietro and I were just having a conversation about that, and John agrees that this has been a disaster so far for Hank Brennan. Just a disaster. That this witness is very credible, that everybody likes him, and that, he really knows his stuff. There was no collision. John finally admitted it to me that there was no collision. That he told me earlier that he was under the impression that there was, but after hearing Matthew DeSoger today, he was just so convincing. He was so convincing that you have, it's kind of undeniable now. It's kind of undeniable now, folks. So let me tell you guys. So we're gonna have some great guests later. We're doing Turtle Club tonight. It's called Sex Cult. Some people call it Sex Cult. I apologize for not making a post. We're going to do it tonight
Say it louder.
at 10 o'clock. Members only. Join up if you can on tbdailynews.com. What do you guys think? How do you guys think the trial is going? Is it going well? What do you guys think? Is it going... How would you guys describe it so far? What do you guys think? So, let's see. So again, it's really distracting. My broadcast is being interrupted by is very rude person over here. I don't know what's going on. So yeah, Karen Reed is clearly not guilty. She's clearly been framed for a crime that she didn't commit. And, it's everybody in the courtroom seems to think so. Like everybody, it's a disaster. Like Hank was begging the witness to say that Shannon Burgess was like a legitimate person. And the witness just wouldn't say it. Because Shannon lied about his education. He's been in college for 18 years. That's pretty good, Most people who do that, we call them doctors, but Shannon, he's going to get that bachelor someday. It's just a couple more credits. First thing he needs to do is enroll in some classes. He might get around to that next semester. Not entirely sure. Hey, what's happening? We got some supporters over here. Love to see it. How you guys doing? I'm doing a broadcast. Thank you. So just, I think most rational people agree that this is going very well for the defense team. It's a little distracting. It's just a little distracting. This is like a Royal Rumble, except the last man standing is Alan Jackson, and Hank Brennan thought it was a cage match. He thought he could get him in there and box him down, but he got free. And let me tell you, it's not going well. You can't hear. Oh, I apologize. I'll talk louder if you can't hear me. I didn't realize I was not loud enough. So, like I said, hope you guys. What do you guys think? What do you guys think of the day so far? What do you think? Can I do a poll on here? I'm live on Facebook, so I've asked Mr. DePietro over here to ease the foul language for the FCC regulations. So,
You could also touch
you know,
as
I don't have any guests. I don't have Stephanie Murphy on mine. She sounds like a hack, quite frankly. But, what's the reaction of the jury? For real, though, the reaction of the jury, they don't show as many tells as the last jury did. They, they really, how do I describe it? They're taking notes. They were taking notes a lot during direct, but during the cross-examination, they're visibly bored by it. They're visibly bored by it. So, we're trying to, a little distraction here. I'm trying to focus. Close quarters over here, folks. Close quarters. I was here first, so that's the thing. But we're all in this together because it was raining and I don't want to get wet. It looks like there's some rain coming. John has admitted, that he lies a lot. I think he's a little mad because he didn't get in next week and I did, so we'll see. Yeah. Oh, man. So, yeah, it's very different, I don't know. I don't know what's going on. So, what do you guys think? Let's see. What did the juror mouth? I believe John and I both saw the juror mouth something to the effect of, wow, Hank is done. I think that's what they said. And, but for real though, one juror who I would say is a not guilty voter, as most of them probably are. She was like putting her head in the palm of her hands at one point. Like she wanted to die. Like it was, and that's not an exaggeration. She looked sick. Like she's like just sick of Hank Brennan and she just wants it to stop. She wants it to stop. But yeah, let's see. Bring on the big bad wolf. Yeah, so also in the building today, the next witness is one of the guys from, I'm told it's one of the guys from the Proctor text messages. And I don't know. I heard we're going to find out some stuff that we've never heard before, right? And Lucky Loughran's in the building, and as everybody knows, Lucky Loughran, the Honorable Lucky Loughran, who has done nothing but tell the truth. He testified at the last trial, of course, that there was no body on Brian Albert's front lawn at 2:30. What's the matter? Oh, so there was no body on the front lawn he seems to be signaling during gang signs or something. I don't know what's going on here. I don't know what he's doing. But anyway, Lucky Loughran will be coming on. We're in the middle of a broadcast here, so we can't interrupt. So, FCC regulations. So, Lucky Loughran's coming next. And as you guys recall, Lucky Loughran stated that, that there was no body on Brian Albert's front lawn at 2:30. And he said specifically, he's up high, the lights are on, illuminates the whole lawn, and then he looks left to right and scans the lawn because God forbid he hit any animals, right? He doesn't want to hit any animals because he loves animals. Lucky's a nice guy like that. So when he was asked by the FBI, because he was interviewed by the FBI, and he was asked by the private investigator for Karen Reed, and by me, and by, I don't even know if Proctor asked him this one, would you have seen a body had a body been there? He said, yes, I would have. And that was not allowed to be asked last trial, but he did say that. He was quite convincing of that. So it just seems like Lucky Loughran, who's a veteran plow driver, has been doing this for years, loves Canton, loves his community, knew the McAlberts, has no reason to try to hurt them or anything like that. He made it very clear there was no body on Brian Albert's lawn at 2:30. So, and then he said that there was a Ford Edge that appeared at around 3 a.m. when he went to go do his second plow through. He tried to do a second plow through, but he couldn't do it because there was a Ford Edge there, and 3 members of the Albert family own a Ford Edge, and the police became aware of this when they interviewed him in August of 2023, but to this date, they have done nothing to look into who was driving that Ford Edge. Now, Brian Tully testified at the last trial that, hey, he did not do anything about that, specifically because he thought it was not credible, that he was led on to believe that it was a Ford Edge. However, I believe it had 4 wheels and a pedal, and it made a sound that says vroom vroom. So it's a vehicle. And they contend that John O'Keefe was killed in a motor vehicle collision. So wouldn't you want to find, who cares what the make and model of the car is? I know it's probably a McAlbert car, but who cares? It's a car. It's a vehicle that was seen at 3 o'clock next to the body, where they claimed the body of John O'Keefe was. So wouldn't you want to find out who was driving that car? And to this day, they have done nothing to see it. What's going on here? Oh, sorry. I don't want to interrupt. So my broadcast, I apologize if my broadcast is being interrupted. We're going to have to report this to the FCC. But anyway, yeah, you know, so I think reporters in the courtroom should tell the truth. That's all I ask. You know, some tell the truth more than others about jury actions. Everybody knows I'm honest in there. Everybody knows I'm telling the truth. But, you know, others like, you know, Johnny over here, you know, Johnny likes to fib, and I don't know why he does that, and I don't know why he's interrupting my broadcast, you know. So Lucky Loughran's another honest guy, and if Hank tries to be mean to Lucky Loughran, I don't think that's going to play well with this jury, folks. I don't think he's going to play well with the jury, because Lucky Loughran's a really likable guy. What's not to like about him? You know, he's sweet, he's honest, he's genuine. You know, he knows how to tie a tie. He just wants to plow the roads. Let Lucky plow. You know, let Lucky plow. That's all we got to do. So, you know, and it looks like it's about to rain. So that's why it is raining right now. So I got to stay. I don't want to get wet for this broadcast. Oh, wow. Wow. We got to. Did you guys say it needs to be louder? Am I not being loud enough? I apologize. Sorry if you guys can't hear me. Sorry. So anyway, you know, it's like I said, I'm really looking forward to hearing Lucky Loughran's testimony, looking forward to hearing the testimony of the other guys who were on the receiving ends of the Proctor messages. And I think I saw one juror mouth today, "Where's Proctor?" Like they're like, why aren't they bringing the lead detective? I'm not a lip reader, but it looked like that's what he was saying. You know, I apologize if my broadcast is being a little interrupted. A little close quarters. Please don't interrupt my broadcast. Please don't interrupt my broadcast. I'm going to have to call the FCC, John, if he doesn't. I just try and do my broadcast, because as you guys can see, it's raining out here. It's raining out. Like, so, you know, I don't want to get wet. It looks like it's going to storm a little bit. I don't know what's going on. But, you know, it's like I just don't want to get wet during my broadcast, so I'm trying to do it over here. But it's just a little distracting because Baghdad Bob over here is just being kind of loud for no reason. But anyway, I was here first. You know, you guys saw me here this morning. This was my corner. I urinated in it. I marked my spot. So that's actually mine now. So
I cocked my leg.
Can I? You're interrupting, sir. Sir, thank you. FCC, thank you, sir. Anyway, because the ladies at the registry like to come out here and have a cigarette during their break. And sometimes they can't, you know, because Baghdad Bob over here is spreading misinformation. But you know, he's got, you know, in fairness, lying is a right. It's not against the law to lie. You know, it's dishonest. It's frowned upon. But you know, John was a little late to the party. You know, like John actually started on this case with Wendy Murphy, believe it or not. Crazy Wendy Murphy. Like, remember how who was a Duke lacrosse truther, who is a person who spread, to this day, still contends that those innocent Duke lacrosse players raped a woman in, I believe, 2006. And Wendy Murphy was the reason that happened. And John heard about the case through Wendy Murphy. So that's his nexus into the Karen Reed world. And it just didn't go so well. So, yeah, it's raining here. It's, you know, getting a little wet. You know, something Hanky Brennan wouldn't know anything about, right? But yeah, we're over here in the corner, in the Turtle Boy corner, and you know, I don't know. John seems flustered today in the courtroom because it's obviously not going well for Spanky, and it's only going to get worse from here. We haven't even seen the ARCA guys yet. Imagine what he's going to do to them. In all honesty, guys, like I think that we're going to be done with this case we might be done with this case by next week. Believe it or not, we might be done with this case by next week. So anyway, guys, I'm going to go get going. I don't want to get too wet. We will see you guys all on Sex Cult tonight. All right? Peace.
Peace. All right, let's get the other one up. That's pretty funny. So we've got the same broadcast, but from DiPetro's side. TB appears at 5 minutes. Okie dokie. Let's go 5 minutes. Oh, it's not giving me a... it must be like here somewhere. I got no timeline here to follow.
How difficult it
Yeah.
is by the fact that Alan
The timeline
Jackson
is-
is essentially
Bottom right
Yes.
of the frame.
so. Where are those? No, it's not. Ava, do you believe this? See, good. See, the Boston Globe can see this. I'm on the radio, so you got to watch the language. No foul language. Yeah, but that doesn't matter. So none of your foul language about the judge. It's against the Facebook rules. I don't. Folks, we have attorney Stephanie Murphy coming up. Where are my friends? Where are the boys in blue? He wants to go back to jail. He wants to go back to jail. Well, folks, we have attorney Stephanie Murphy coming up. We're going to talk to her. Some people, listen, he should just go to lunch. I would go to lunch if I didn't have to be live. There he is. Oh, my goodness. All right, folks, we're going to start in 1 minute. 1 minute. So we'll just work through it. We'll work through it.
12.
I don't know about that. All right, we're going to start. Well, folks, good afternoon on this Friday. Again, we are outside of the courthouse. We're live on AM 1380 and 99 points. Different when it's your witness and you have to ask open-ended questions.
It's so much more fun on the defense perspective to get up and cross-examine somebody. You get them, going on the flow, yes or no questions. You basically are putting the statements that you want them to say out there, and they're either agreeing or they're not agreeing. Then you get to impeach. On direct examination, first of all, you rarely want to impeach your own witness that you're calling. And secondly, it's really hard to get kind of that flow and that narrative because you have no idea what the witness is going to say.
One other thing, and I want to hear any thoughts you have on the Karen Reed trial, but something that I've noticed is that is a threshold bar, and there was a lot of back and forth and sidebars as far as Stephanie, and it came down to 2020 was basically when Karen backed up, and as she said, Karen Reed's own words, I clipped him. At that moment, it's very possible that John
You can't
O'Keefe
see what's in the
was brain
background.
dead. And a lot of people have said, if only Karen Reed had called 911, then maybe they could have saved him. But the neurosurgeon changed that. The neurosurgeon from Miami, Dr. Wolf, he made the case for murder too. Folks, I'm telling you, it's just, it's a full freak show. But listen, they're rattled. They're rattled of how badly the case is going. They're rattled because they don't have Proctor. They're rattled
They're
because there's
making fun of
nothing
you,
inside the
dickhead.
house. Hank Brennan said this is down to science and data. Look at how badly it's going, that they're trying to invade the broadcast. They're trying to stop me, right, from telling you what's going on. It's almost like when the Romans tried to stop, Christ from preaching the truth of the Bible, what's going on. The people that are out there, they shouldn't be afraid of the truth. They shouldn't be afraid of any of the evidence that's coming out. But make no mistake about it. Today, if I want to be objective, and I do, Alan Jackson, I thought it was like the Alessi effect. Alan Jackson is one of, and I've said
The
this,
Alessi
I've
effect.
actually even told him, he's one of the best trial attorneys you will see. When he's on cross and when he's in the zone, he's not on cross. It wasn't the expert they have was basically just showed, the emperor has no clothes. Hank Brennan showed this isn't really an expert.
For
It's
real,
just some
for real.
guy
For real, for real.
to the Karen
Hang
Reed
on.
clips. The
Okay,
jury
yeah.
has seen video, the dash cam video of the scene. The jury has seen the ring camera at Karen Reed's. The jury has seen the was not allowed. I told them today, when we, I'll share some other things.
There you go. It didn't entirely interrupt his stream as much as we thought it was going to. But anyway, yes, he is a meme. He does. Jesus, take the wheel. Is he quoting the Bible? Of course he is. Oh, there's some hilarious crap going on, right?
Yeah, Jesus take the wheel is a country western song, but you wouldn't know that.
Right. So did you have another link? Was there another one you want to show?
No, that was it. It was just a reverse angle of what was going on.
Yeah.
Listen to
Well, we didn't hear Turtle Boy as loudly as I thought we would. So, because he's in that alcove, because he's got his camera set up in that, like, it's like a sound shell, right? Like the shape of a sound shell. So.
Yeah, you would imagine it would echo the acoustics.
Yeah, it will be historical. It just won't be the way PP thinks it will be, unfortunately, for him.
No, some of the posts, they're just outlandish. He's not even watching any version of the trial.
Right. And it's pretty obvious when you see someone like Turtle Boy, who is constantly shit stirring and tongue in cheek and saying all sorts of things, when PP's more outlandish than Turtle Boy. You know what I mean? Like, it's such a contrast.
Yeah. That was funny. I laughed so hard when I saw it first earlier on today.
Didn't hear him at all. Yeah. He's got some sort of weird setup on his headset, I'd say, by the sounds of that. But anyway, I thought that was freaking hilarious. Turtle Boy's written on the podcast, on that broadcast in Facebook. This is an FCC approved broadcast. Okay, so we're going to get to what he says about the jurors. He says one juror has her head in her hands and looks like she's had enough of this BS. She frequently took notes while Jackson was asking questions, not sure what Spanky thinks he's accomplishing here. The media has suggested that public opinion is split on the Karen Reed case and that supporters of John O'Keefe are outside in blue. Well, thus far, the only person we've seen in blue is Judd Welcher. Trying to use the defence's witnesses to say how awesome the Commonwealth's witness is seems like a bit of a desperate move, Spanky. To be clear, nobody is impressed by Shannon Burgess. It's not July yet, but this is starting to look a lot like the Wimbledon. Hank Brennan is firing serves at Matthew DeSogra, thinking it will result in an ace, but DeSogra is using his world-class backhand to return point for point. Interesting. So I actually... Sorry.
I just dropped a link in the chat there to you. Court TV did a quick poll during DeSogra's testimony, and they got 2,000 votes within 3 minutes.
This is how divided everybody is, right?
Oh, there's no division here. None.
We're so divided that 85% think that the witness who is more believable is Matthew DeSogra. That's pretty funny. Julie Grant just ran out of the makeup room in tears.
They ran out of box line. I hate that woman. I absolutely hate that woman.
Yep. Let's go back to Go back to, how come, oh, I missed it. It's okay, I still see you from Will. I wanted the glare to see me. He's not even streaming. Is he in the courtroom?
I would say your feet and my feet are probably almost identical now at this stage, Ozzy.
Yep. Yep, he certainly did. It's a master troll. That's why I had to laugh at when JLR went out there thinking that he was going to master troll Turtle Boy. It was so funny. It's like, yeah, I don't think you know who you're up against, buddy.
I just sent a link to a funny post. A very quick one.
Is Brennan another lawyer working pro bono for Karen Reid? Right. Share screen. This is, of course, just projection. Oh, protected opinion. Because you're saying projection. There you go.
Yeah, there's very few on the funny side today. Not as much as other days.
Who's the
Trying to
ghostly
find
white
stuff.
creepy dude that is always sitting behind the podium? Hank? I don't know who you're talking about. Behind the podium. Oh, I think I know who you're talking about. I think you're talking about... What day are we on? 23? Was that today?
Oh, he sits over Hank Brennan's shoulder there, or Jackson when they're at the podium on the right-hand side.
Yeah, I'll get a picture of it up on the screen. I'm just trying to work out what day we are. Is it day 24? I forget what day we're on. 2 hours ago. It must be day 24. All right.
Day 27, I think, isn't it?
No, it's 24. Right. I'll get an image up. We'll see who it is. We shall see who it is. Share this screen. Let's go. Somewhere here. Yeah. So you're talking about right over here, aren't you? Off the screen right now.
Just where that officer, directly behind Mr. Reid. I think that's who she's talking about. He sits in there all the time.
I think
right,
for a little while it was that dude there. This one here with the red cheeks.
I think that's him.
That's another assistant DA that represented Bev at the SJC. That's who that is. I can't think of his name. Let me find it for you.
Is that who you were talking about, Kylie?
Let me find it for you. I know I've got it saved in ChatGPT. Who is the ADA?
Corn Pope is saying he's one of the appellate lawyers.
Yeah.
Schillinger. Mr.
Schillinger, that's the dude.
Mr. Yannetti posted it up there in the chat.
Thank you. Indeed it is. I just can't think of his first name. But yes, ADA Schillinger. That's who that is. Assistant District Attorney Caleb Schillinger. There you go. So you know what it means? Like you don't always see the judge's own lawyer sitting in the courtroom on the case. this is not something that is normal. So the point of him being there. Let me just do a quick. Kevy, take over for a second while I do some quick searches here.
Okay, do you want me to play that song?
Yeah, do that.
Right, okay, I'm going to share.
And then
the screen
after the
here.
song, I'll have an answer for you why he's in the courtroom.
Just a little something to give us a bit of a giggle.
You got to do a share. Whoops.
Right.
You've already got one share up, which you need to stop. Oh, no, that's the share. You need to stop the last share you had.
Do I? Okay, I did.
Okie dokie.
In Dedham courtroom, 25 Judge Beverly. She contrives, she struts in late with a flask in her sleeve. Look on her face could scare you, believe she's got grave concerns about every case. With a sigh so long, it slows time space. But cross her line and she'll shoot you a glance while doing her version of the courtroom dance. Big Bang's Beverly ain't one bit shy. Takes a sip from her mug with a heavy sigh. She don't like the fence, doesn't care what they say. Short on time, but long on Chardonnay. And don't bring up Alan Jackson, son. She'll toss your case just for fun. That's not how we do it in Massachusetts, Mr. Jackson. Now Spanky's her boy, sits right by her throne, feeds her crackers and fiddles can know. She leans on Meatball, a shadowy gent. Rumor has it her robe was his rent. Interrupts the lawyers like she's cutting in line. Rolls her eyes, wrap it up, we're out of time. Break at 11, lunch at 1. The courtroom's a bar when the day is done. Big Bang's Beverly with a look of disdain has grave concerns, but she won't explain. She bangs the gavel like it's karaoke night and rules the court by cocktail light. Hates Alan Jackson with a burning fire. His songs make her eyes roll and expire. That's not how we do it in Massachusetts, Mr. Jackson. The bailiff just nods, the clerk just weeps. The jury's asleep, but Beth still speaks. She's the queen of corruption, the Duchess of Sass, with a robe full of bribes and one massive ass. Big Bang's Beverly, justice with flair, with grave concerns and messed up hair. Interrupts the truth, but never the lie. She's got Meatball's number and Spanky's high fives. She don't do fairness, she don't do facts, but she does do White Claw and shady contracts. That's not how we do it in Massachusetts, Mr. Jackson. Now get out of my court and quit your overreaction. So raise your glass to the judicial dread, to the hungover queen with bangs on her head. The legend, the myth, the sass from above. Big Bang's Beverly will show you no love.
Court adjourned, cause I'm bored and it's White Claw time and I want to get messy with Alessi.
Good on ya. I want to get messy with Alessi. We all want to get messy with Alessi, right?
Yeah, just a bit of fun.
Lovely. Very good.
In Dedham court.
That's not what I wanted. Sorry, that was my fault. I was trying to take it off the
I've
stage.
removed it there now. It's gone.
So I did a little search to find out what all the possible reasons are that Caleb Schillinger might be sitting in the courtroom. And, you know, it's not just for kicks. You don't often have the judge's own lawyer sitting in the courtroom during a trial. So here it is. There's 4 possible reasons, all right? This is ChatGPT's read on it. 1, damage control agent. He already went to the mat for Judge Canoni at the SJC to keep the retrial alive, and that makes him personally invested. If this thing crashes, especially due to prosecutorial misconduct, judicial bias, or exposure of fabrication, it torpedoes not only Canoni's credibility, but also his. He needs to make sure that Hank Brennan doesn't fumble and that no one strays into admissions that contradict the state's carefully spun narrative. So for all those who have noticed Judge Bev signaling to what it looks like she's signaling to Brennan, I wouldn't be surprised if some of that signaling is to Caleb. So point 2, he's a back channel handler. There's reason to believe the DA's office has been working behind the scenes with cops, with taint teams, with witnesses. Schillinger could be there to coordinate those efforts discreetly from the sidelines, because since now we know Judge Bev probably has had ex parte communications with Morrissey. I'm just signaling that bit in myself, but that would be another good reason. He may also be relaying courtroom developments in real time to DA Morrissey's office, or even to Canoni herself, helping shape the rulings or trial strategy. So ever since it came up that Morrissey's texts were revealed, Beverly put Hanky in charge of the taint team for Morrissey's communications with other judges, and all that stuff came about. He ended up on the witness list for the defense. Now she's not going to get away with so much back channel communication with the DA. So that's another point that the ChatGPT points out, is that he could be one of those back channel handlers to cover her ass, so she can still get that real-time information with the DA. And then we've got the least sort of, the least innocuous, I guess. Number 3, which is observer with authority. So he's got seniority over Brennan. And if Brennan, a so-called special prosecutor, starts losing the jury or gets impeached mid-trial by his own witnesses, hi Burgess, hi Welcher, the ChatGPT actually put that in there. Schillinger is in a position to step in, clean up the mess, or testify post-trial to defend decisions made under the Commonwealth's name. And then number 4, sentry against defense landmines. If the defense drops a nuclear bomb, say providing proven evidence of fabrication, tampering, or even jury interference, Schillinger needs to be there to either contain it or immediately prepare the next legal maneuver. His presence isn't for show, it's for surveillance. In short, Schillinger's not watching a trial, he's managing a crisis. I mean, it's dead set. It is dead set indication that there's a freaking crisis, right? Interesting. So that's what the AI says. Like, I have to dig sometimes to get it to give me an honest opinion. Otherwise, it'll just go through with search the web for some sources. Why would someone be like that level be sitting in the courtroom? There are some standard reasons why it might be. One is continuity and institutional memory, because he played a significant role in the first trial, particularly during the appeal to the Massachusetts Supreme Judicial Court, where he defended Judge Beverly's decision to declare a mistrial. His deep familiarity with the case's intricacies and procedural history makes him an invaluable asset to the prosecution team. Not sure how, but probably at appeal. Strategic oversight, high-profile cases like this one often require a coordinated effort from multiple legal minds. Schillinger's presence allows for real-time consultation and strategy adjustments, ensuring the prosecution maintains a cohesive and responsive approach throughout the trial. We're all going to give him an F for that. Right, guys? I am too, Corn Pope. I am too. So number 3 could be public and institutional confidence. Given the intense public scrutiny and allegations of a cover-up surrounding this case, having a senior ADA like Schillinger visibly involved may be an effort to demonstrate the prosecution's commitment to transparency and diligence. The fact that we literally had to go searching to find out who he is means that it's not really a visible presence. Because no one knows who the fuck he is, so I don't think that counts. Public and institutional confidence. Oh, sorry, I just did that one. And number 4 is support for the lead prosecutor. Yay, Lally. Yay, Hanky. He's going to break out the pom-poms any day now. Oh, I'm glad to have helped. Glad to be there. So, yeah. What have I missed? I probably missed a few because I was over there reading shit. Swiss Miss is tardy, but you're here, so that's what counts. I don't think it's an appeal going on in the background. I think they're trying to get ahead of the appeals. I am overwhelmed with Desogra. Always believed the tech stream data was not alignable to time and location. Defense expert confirmed degreeless Burgess was able to achieve this damning alignment. I am very disappointed that Desogra didn't point out the very obvious fact that this cannot be tech stream data. Anyone who's had any experience with tech stream itself knows that it's only diagnostics. It's not time stamped. It's not anything. It's just diagnostics for mechanics to fix the vehicle, whatever's wrong with the vehicle. For them to have that little window, 5 seconds before a trigger and 5 seconds after a trigger, that's EDR. That is not tech stream. And the EDR is read with the Bosch tool, which they're denying they did. The Bosch tool produced an empty report, according to them. So yeah, I'm very disappointed that he didn't do that, because I was like so excited yesterday for this news to come out. This is not tech stream, people, and it didn't come out. So maybe someone else is going to. I know Dr. Wolf is qualified in tech stream, written some papers on it. He's also Delta V, so that's the company, one of the companies that Maddie Desogra is also part of. So and he has a similar, well, actually he has 3 PhDs, but on top of that, he also has the extra tech training on TechStream, so and has written papers on it. So maybe it's saved for Dr. Wolf. I don't know. Desogra testified that the infotainment system aligns with the actual key cycles. No, he didn't. He said that you couldn't tell if it did. Although there was some parts that I missed because I was too busy throwing shit at my TV screen, because Hank was pissing me off. So Wicked Exile, I'll give it to you because I'm not 100% sure. But I thought there were a couple of things that I thought. You know, Desogra was going to say you can't match this odometer thing to anything specific because it's not showing in the text stream. This is, well, hang on, I just got that mixed up. Sorry, the text stream is the one that will show the speedo, but not the dates. The EDR is the one that will show the dates and the speedo and the key cycle that it's all connected to. So, yeah, I'm devastated too. He absolutely did. Okay. I'm sure that there was a but in there, but you could be right. Like I said, I was too busy throwing shit at the freaking screen. And I just woke up. Steak, asparagus, and a nice, Zinfandel with a dark chocolate and almonds for dinner. Not that anyone asked. I thought it was a bit. Where's your
Zinfandel? Yeah, wine. Lovely.
You may want to show this.
Yeah, that's funny.
Behold Dr. Judson Welcher and Shannon Burgess Hanks. Oh, let's put that up on the screen. Hang on. Oh, fucking hell. Keep pressing the wrong buttons.
That's Borges on the right.
I don't know why it's gone weird on me. Is it on the screen?
Not yet.
Shit's gone freaking AWire on me.
There you
go.
are. Yeah.
All right.
Is that supposed to be the floss or something he's doing?
Hank Brennan, star witness. These men are linchpin of the Commonwealth's lynching of Karen Reid. Hank's hoping the jury finds these dirt bags credible enough to put her in prison for the rest of her life. So there they are, buddy buddies. Why is in his pajamas? I have no freaking idea. And what?
That's the expert. That's the
Oh. Which
That's
expert?
it.
that's the expert. That's the
I can't tell which expert it is, but
That's Borges. That's
it's
who supposed
Burgess.
to be.
The glasses give it
Yeah,
away.
yeah. That's Welcher in that one.
This guy went on Ozempic and triggered a mild midlife crisis. Oh dear. Oh dear.
There's another Court TV poll up here. It says grade the prosecution's case, and it's A, B, C, or F. Any guesses as to which one's got the majority? It's 11% for A, 5% for B, 22% for C, and 62% for F. And that's 2,700 votes. There's still 14 hours, 5 hours left on the poll.
In my study of the data, and I've also got some videos of other tech experts talking about the data and showing us what should be in the data. The tech stream is just diagnostics. It's for when the car breaks, when shit on the car breaks. It also covers them for warranty repairs and stuff like that. But the EDR actually records event data. That's why it's EDR, Event Data Recorder. It's the thing that has the timestamps and the date stamp and the crash report data that you would want to see, the 5 seconds before and 5 seconds after the event trigger. That's all in the EDR. The tech stream's only diagnostics for repairing the car. And I don't know why the EDR specialist didn't fucking say that. Maybe because here's one scenario that I can think of that they wouldn't mention it. If Trooper Paul and Proctor have cooked up a way that they have mixed a bit together, they've mixed a little bit of the data from the tech stream together with a little bit of the data of the EDR, it makes it very difficult for an expert to say this isn't tech stream because it does have some tech stream details in it. And it's hard to say it's not EDR because it does have some trigger events in there. So it's too difficult to make that argument. So they might be going about this a completely different way. That's the only thing that I can think of. So yeah, stick it on a pillow, Tracy. Lay back on your bed. I actually have a sun bed, nice little spot in the sun, although there's no fucking sun today. You can probably hear the rain on my roof. Lay back on your bed, chuck a couple of pillows under your foot, and stick your laptop on your head. I literally have my big screen TV sitting on a shelf over the end of my daybed, so I can lay back, put my feet up if I need to, and still see the TV screen, still watch YouTube and shit. So when I fell down the driveway step the other day and a couple of months ago and fucked up my knee, I had to do that. It was like, okay, now I need to drill a shelf into the wall. Someone put the tally up there.
Right, I found another interesting poll. and it's from none other than Jennifer Coffindaffer. But it's very interesting results.
Oh my God, that's another great idea. If you've got a couch with a back on it, lay back on your couch and prop your leg up on the back of the couch. That's another great idea. Only that's the same one, Kev.
What's that, sorry?
This is adequate. Yeah. Hang on. I think it's the same one. I'm trying to work out. Did you say you had another one? And I clicked it. What you posted in chat, it's the same link.
No. I didn't drop it in. I was just going to speak through it.
Okay, speak to it.
Quickly.
Do it.
It's Jennifer Coffindaffer, and the question is, do you believe all charges proved 24%, no charges proved 49%, second degree murder proved 11%, and manslaughter proved 16%? 500 votes, and 49% of her followers are saying that no charges proved, and that's after the defence.
That's her own followers.
Like that pretty much sums up the case, I think.
Sucked in, Coffindaffer. Let me go find it so I can vote on it.
I'll send you the link here now. Copy. There you go.
Hang on, I'm broken.
Oh, actually, it's only a screenshot. It's only a screen grab. It's not. You'll have to find it on her. Apologies.
Commonwealth rested yesterday. The defence will now put on their case. Do you believe all charges proved? No charges. Hang on, let me share the tab so you guys can see it, and you can even watch me vote in it.
She's spitting bullets, I'd say.
No charges proved. Second degree murder. No, nothing proven. And you know what? It doesn't matter who runs the poll. It's still only 10%. It's still only 10% that are saying anything else.
I just voted there now as well. Well, I'll put the link up in chat. People can all go in there and vote if they want for the crack.
Yeah, go and vote in Coffin Daffy's stupid poll. I've got it blocked, but I can unblock her to add my to do whatever I like. But she's never blocked me because I've got her blocked and I don't see her dumb comments, so I never comment on her dumb comments. She's never blocked me.
Yeah, she blocked me briefly. I think it was for an hour or two. She must have had a change of heart.
Yes, Blue Jays. Exactly. Glenn is back. Glenn the clown, the class clown, is back. He's finished his dinner and he's back. All right. Where are we? What are we up to? What's in my notes, Kevy? Do that one we can delete.
I don't know because I haven't seen them.
Proctor's chain of evidence for idea. Let's go all the way to the top. Not the usual parade of Proctor's drinking buddies. That's not what it is. What we're likely seeing is the Proctor group chat text crew being questioned in camera to determine whether they were part of the prejudicial text exchange, which is what the motion said, purely to validate it, and whether they discussed the case publicly or with jurors. I'm not sure that that's actually been brought up, given that the court cleared the room and brought in the jury from the room and brought in individuals one at a time. It's almost certainly a voir dire. There you go. We already got to that. He has his attorney in court with him. Why? Why would he believe he may be criminally exposed? He's not law enforcement. Why did he have his attorney in there?
Who has their attorney in there? Brennan?
The first guy that the defense put on to ask about Proctor's texts, were you part of this text exchange? He had his
Yeah.
lawyer in the room.
Okay. Well, a lot of them lawyered up. A lot of them lawyered up at the start of the first trial. Even before that, I think. during the
So
investigation.
he is not criminally exposing himself just because he agreed, like just because he was in on top Proctor telling him stuff that Proctor wasn't meant to tell him. So this is what it comes down to. He is either somebody who is employed or connected to witnesses, employed by the court, law enforcement, court staff, jury services, or connected to witnesses. Or he's part of the inside circle, the ones who are coordinating narratives and feeding information to the DA.
I have.
Or he's worried about a current or potential federal investigation.
I have a link here to the motion that they were discussing at the end of the day.
Right.
If you
Let
want.
me finish this first. So
No,
I
I'll
think
drop it in.
out of all the options, I think it's probably that he still thinks that he's still a potential target of the federal investigation because he was already subpoenaed. He's aware that the records from Proctor's phone have already been seized and have been played in court. Everyone has just corrected me that it was the feds who got those. So I think that that's actually the most likely reason he had his lawyer in court with him. Sorry, Kev, what were you after?
It wasn't after anything. I found the motion that they were discussing at the end of the day today regarding Proctor's messages. So I've dropped the link into the chat there.
Got it. Let's go to that screen. Commonwealth's motion to preclude inadmissible hearsay. If they were in on the text exchange, how is it hearsay? The defense noticed that it intends to call forward 4 individuals who have phone numbers associated with a federally protected and confidential series of text messages from Michael Proctor's personal cell phone. The defense intends to offer the communications of 9 individuals, only 3 of whom had partial contact names saved within Michael Proctor's personal cell phone, for the substantive truth of their statements. No, that's not what their motion didn't say for the substantive truth. Their motion said for the sole reason of admitting them. I'll read the defense's motion, but it wasn't for the substantive truth. Of note, the confidential records indicate there were a total of 38,000 text messages exchanged within this group, beginning in October 2021, ending in August 31st, 2022. The defense seeks to introduce a limited portion of text messages attributed to being exchanged by 9 individuals that occurred over 3 years ago. I didn't know it was 9. Preliminarily, it is the defendant's burden to satisfy the requirement of authenticating. That's what it was. The sole purpose of those individuals is to authenticate the communications by producing sufficient evidence to support a finding that the communication is what the defense claims it to be. And that is what he said. He said, yes, I don't necessarily recall these communications, but I do believe that this was a text exchange that we had with Michael Proctor. So she moved on this motion. No, she didn't. She said she was going to hold off on this motion, but she'll move by this afternoon on the ME motion, I think. I could be wrong, but I think that's what was done. The defense must not only establish that the communication was authored by the witness on the stand, but also the statements of the others in the group, including Michael Proctor. This will require the judge to determine relevance and admissibility of each communication, depending on who authored the communication. Well, that didn't count for Jen McCabe. Why was it she was allowed to read out the group conversation and who was sending what? Why is it all of a sudden different now that it's the defense that wants to do it? Yeah, so Hanky's just pulling the same bullshit as always, and Bevy's just being prejudicial as always. Tully and Mechanic both saw and approved. There you go. The slimy text thread, that one. That's the one. I didn't hear a rule on anything yet today, but I got it on the screen, so let's play through it. Hang on. Let's get to the end. Let's get to the end and see what she ruled. Might as well play him saying, let's do that after this ad. I mean, I got copyright struck. YouTube stuck. So yesterday I played my own fucking video, my own music video, and then YouTube stuck an ad on it, which had a song in the ad. And then YouTube struck me because a song was playing on my channel from my video, which is supposed to go towards my ad revenue, where it stuck its own ad in there, and then it struck me for it. So we need to be careful with ads popping up as they do, fuckers. Let's see what happened here.
Will do.
All right. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Go ahead, Mr. Lessie. Oh, geez, Yannetti.
That was a big compliment, Your Honor. Thank you. Good afternoon, sir. Would you please state your name and spell your last name?
Jonathan Diamandis, Diamandis.
You've also been here all day.
Yes.
Sorry for making you wait.
No problem.
Do you know former State Trooper Michael Proctor?
I do.
How do you know him?
I've known him since middle school, probably the 6th grade.
Grew up with him, essentially?
Grew up with him, been friends for 30 years.
Okay, and if you just keep your voice up...
Sure, yeah.
I'm sure.
Oh, shit. Hang on. Here I am playing it, and I haven't even got it on the fucking screen. What the hell happened? Were you even hearing it? I'm like playing away. Could you hear it, Kev?
I wasn't listening. I was listening to something else to make sure that other link was working.
Sorry, everybody. We all dropped the ball. Let's go back. Let's go back. Sorry, guys.
So you're going to step up, face the clerk, and raise your right hand.
You solemnly swear the evidence you give the court in the case now and hearing should be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God. Thanks. You can take the stand.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
I know this is a reluctant opportunity. There is a witness outside. Do you have to recognize just to get her?
Sure. Is she right outside the door?
Last time I checked.
Do you mind, sir, if you can stay right there? Sure. It will just be a few minutes, okay? Miss Giannetti, when do you need this witness back? Monday?
This is Diva first. I kind of went back a little too far. What was funny was...
But you were summoned to be here?
Yes.
All right,
so that summons is still good until we reach you, so you're going to have to come back Monday morning, okay?
Yes, ma'am.
Do you agree to do so?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, thank you very much. We'll see you Monday morning. Be here before 9, okay?
Will do.
All right, thank you very much.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Go ahead, Mr. Lessie. Oh, geez, Yannetti.
She called him a Lessie.
That was a big compliment, Your Honor. Thank you. Good afternoon, sir. Would you please state your name and spell your last name?
Jonathan Diamandis, Diamandis.
You've also been here all day.
Yes.
Sorry for making you wait.
No problem.
Do you know former State Trooper Michael Proctor?
I do.
How do you know him?
I've known him since middle school, probably the 6th grade.
Grew up with him, essentially?
Grew up with him, been friends for 30 years.
Okay, and if you just keep your voice up...
Sure, yeah.
I'm sure other people can hear you, but This
So
old guy.
can we turn off the fans and the air conditioning? Are they all off?
Yeah, well, she will shut that down.
We're just going to do that, sir, so that we can get through this a little bit.
Absolutely, sure.
Much better. Thank you.
Listen, Beverly, if you had mic'd up the courtroom with speakers and shit, you wouldn't be having trouble listening to crap. This is all you're doing, lady. Remember trial 1.0, she ruled against having speakers in there?
So you say you've known him since middle school, elementary school?
Yes.
Graduate high school with him?
Yes.
And are you friends after high school as well?
Yes.
Do you have his cell phone number in your phone?
I do.
Have you texted with him over the years?
I have.
In fact, were you on a group text chain with him that lasted a number of years?
Yes.
I would like to show you a document, sir, and I'm going to ask you to read it to yourself, familiarize yourself with it, and then when you're done, look up at me. Okay?
Okay.
May I approach?
Yes.
Would you like this marked for identification first, Your Honor?
Yes.
We'll get to the motion to dismiss in a minute. It's coming up next. Don't let me forget, Kev.
Yeah, don't forget the motion to dismiss.
Exhibit N for
Uh-huh.
identification. And now I'll give it back to the witness. Thank you.
Thank you.
Here's what I think. His ability to remember actually having the conversation is beside the point. He can be impeached still. He's just got to verify this is the conversation that he had, and yes, that's me in the exchange. Come on, buddy, move it along. It's not that fucking hard. Is it your phone number or not? Come on. You can do it. Oh, come on. For fuck's sake. Ah.
I think he's all set, Mr. Union.
Thank you, Your Honor. Sir, have you reviewed that entire document?
Yes.
Does that look familiar to you?
Yes.
What do you recognize it to be?
It looks to be a text chain with a group of my friends that I grew up with.
Okay. And so would all of those friends have been people that you went to high school with?
Not all the same high school, but the same time. Some of us went to different schools.
And you were friends during that era?
Yes.
And you've remained friends for how many years since then?
I mean, we've been friends for 30 plus years, probably.
Do you know precisely when that text chain started?
I do not know when the text chain started.
Months, years?
Years. Definitely years.
And that's a portion, in other words, there's a start time and an end time to that, but the text chain started before the start time that's listed on that document?
That's correct.
Now, I'd like to ask you about 5 different categories of information that allow you to identify the text chain. First of all, directing your attention to page 1. That is an unredacted version of this. Do you see your phone number on page 1?
I do.
And is that accurate in terms of your phone number?
It is.
Well, do you have a passcode on your phone?
On my phone, yes, I do.
All right, and have you had that for years?
Yes.
So as of January of 2022, you would have had a passcode to get into your phone, correct?
Correct.
With regard to the typing of text messages, you didn't appear to be too active on this thread, is that correct?
Not from what I see here.
Did you see one entry that you actually did text?
Yes, one.
Okay, and I think these page numbers, they're all numbered. Could you direct us to the page where you actually chimed in? And if I suggested to you, it might be 4 from the end. And you don't have to read the actual text, sir. I just want to...
Sure. I'm just trying to locate it. Yes, I see it.
Okay, and the time of that, a date and time of that text as it's reflected on this document?
February 2nd, 2022, 12:38 p.m.
Okay. And what you type... Oh, I'm sorry. It's for the record, it's on page...
Oh. Babe, stop it. You know the text. We're in the last trial.
And for the record, reading what is typed there, does that sound consistent with something you might chime in a text message, a text chain of this sort?
I mean, it could be. I have no memory of actually typing it, but
sure,
that's not something. I mean, it could have been something that I would say. Yeah.
At the very last line of that text, do you mention somebody's nickname?
Yes.
And
dude, is it your number or is it not your number? Like, it sounds like something I could have typed. Is it your fucking number or not?
What nickname is that?
Chip.
And whom do you know as Chip?
Michael Proctor.
Now, going back to the first page, there are a number of other phone numbers there. Have you checked your phone prior to taking the stand today to match those phone numbers with other friends of yours?
Yes.
And if you could, and hopefully you remember them all, can you list by first name only your friends who are included in this text chain?
Sure.
I don't
think it's necessary.
Yeah. So let's not... If he recognizes, I don't want to put names out.
Oh, I don't either, Judge. That's why I was saying first names. But if that's sufficient that he recognizes...
Why don't you refer to the last 2 digits in the phone?
Sure.
Is that acceptable, Mr. Brennan?
It is.
Okay.
Okay. You see, I'll list the last 2 digits of the phone numbers that don't have a name associated with them. Okay?
Okay.
If I may just have a moment.
Yes.
Yeah, of course. Okay, starting with the phone number that ends in 51. After you checked your contacts, is that a friend of yours?
Yes, it is.
Who was on the text chain?
Correct.
With regard to the phone number that ends in 68, same question. Is that a friend of yours who was on the text chain?
Correct.
And with regard to 45, which is the next one, again, a friend of yours who was on the text chain?
That's me.
Oh, I'm sorry, that is you, of course. With regard to 95, is that a friend of yours who was on the text chain?
Yes, it is.
And with regard to 93, same question, friend of yours on the text chain?
Yes.
And then there are 3 numbers there, one that ends in 11, one that ends in 46, and one that ends in 82. Do you see that those particular numbers have a nickname associated with them?
Yes.
Those nicknames, do you recognize them as being also friends of yours who are on the text chain?
I do.
And then finally, there is somebody listed as local user. We'll get back to that one.
Okay.
With regard to the other ones that you've just identified, sir, have you texted back and forth with them on those phone numbers over the years?
Yes.
And also with regard to this particular text thread?
Yes.
All right. Now, I'd also ask you, with regard to the content of these messages and who said what, and particularly focusing on the one that's identified as local user. Having read that text chain, were you able to determine who local user is?
Yes.
And who is that?
Michael Proctor.
And was that by the content of the messages that Michael Proctor typed that you recognized it?
Yes.
And with regard to whether this is a complete, accurate record of what it purports to be, what is your testimony in that regard?
I believe this to be a record of our text chain for this period of time.
Appears to be accurate and complete.
It does.
If I may have a moment, Your Honor.
Okay.
Just one more question for you, sir. Does the text message chain that you read fairly and accurately represent the circumstances of the conversation that was going on?
Yes.
Nothing further.
Mr. Brennan?
Good morning.
Good morning. Good afternoon.
Do you have an independent memory of any of the text conversations in the package that you reviewed?
I do not have a memory of this happening.
Thank you.
But you just verified all the numbers are you and your friends.
All right. So, sir, I'm going to ask you to you're all set.
Okay.
I'm going to ask you to step down.
Okay. Thank you.
Your Honor, given that unfortunately this witness was not reached by the jury today, I would like him recognized as well.
He has counsel here with him, right? Does he have counsel here with him? All right. Sir, you'll make sure.
See, he's got a lawyer in there. He has counsel with him. So what's the fucking lawyer doing there? Obviously, the feds are still watching. Or he's worried that they're still watching, right? Oh, that was Kevy. I'm like, what am I reading? Thank you, Kev, for the super sticker.
No bother. No bother. Just a bit of a news flash there.
Bad, Bozo, Chip, Gonzo, Pigpen, and this guy. Whoops.
Just got a bit of news there from Brian and LTL.
What's that?
It's in relation to the Enrique Delgado case.
Okay, well, keep that in the list. We need to go through the motion to dismiss before we get sidetracked.
Yeah, no bother. No bother.
Yeah, so he's got his lawyer in the courtroom.
Your client is here when we need him.
I will do so, Your Honor.
All right, thank you.
My name is Thomas Campbell. My office is in Boston.
Thomas Campbell.
Mr. Campbell, in terms of an appropriate time of day. He's been very cooperative.
All right. So, sir, you can leave.
Okay. Thank you.
Right, and thank you, Mr. Campbell. We'll see you. We'll let you know when we need you back. It's probably going to be Monday first thing.
Understood.
Thank you.
Sir, watch your step coming down.
All right. We'll hear you, Mr. Yannetti.
Before Yannetti goes off, she says she wants him back Monday first thing. So maybe she is already hinting that she's already made a decision. So you know how she does that shit?
There's an objection, so I've got to respond to the objection.
I want to hear you as to why this is admissible.
Stop right there. He says that prosecution raised an objection, and she's like, no, I'm going to flip the Constitution on you and tell you that you're the one who has to has the burden of proof here. But it's wrong because it doesn't follow standard evidentiary rules. When a party offers potential impeachment evidence, they don't have to prove anything. It's presumed to be evidence, especially when it involves bias, credibility, motive, or misconduct. burden is not on them to prove admissibility. The correct order to do things is deal with that objection first, and then the prosecution should be trying to say why it's inadmissible, not the other way around. But she's actually flipping the burden here. It's the prosecution's burden to object and show why it should be excluded. Under Rule 403, prejudice outweighs probative. My mouth's so tied up. Prejudice outweighs probative value. Under 401, lack of relevance, and under 802, hearsay if applicable. And he did lodge a motion saying it was hearsay, which we just read. So we want to hear how he has deemed it to be hearsay. But she just flipped it and said that Yanetti's got the burden here. Explain to me your legal thesis, why the truth matters, Mr.
So,
Yannetti.
Your Honor, with regard, I assume we're just dealing with authenticity at this point?
No, we're dealing with both. You're the proponent of the testimony, so let's deal with both.
Okay. All right. So, regarding authenticity, Your Honor, there are several ways that are either independent or connected with each other by which or through which a party can authenticate text messages.
Before we go on with that, Fulchman, this dude here is he's the new insider that's doing all of that, taking the information back to DA Morrissey because Bev knows she's skating on thin ice.
The majority of the case law out there are defendants having appealed judges' decisions to admit text messages offered by the Commonwealth, and the majority of the case law that exists affirm judges' allowance of text messages into evidence. The Commonwealth filed a memorandum in opposition to these text messages being admitted, and not one of the cases cited by the Commonwealth apply here or are appropriate. The case of Commonwealth versus Purdy, in that case, the Commonwealth introduced text messages from computers seized at a massage parlor. The defendant objected that there was no evidence that he had authored any of the, these actually were emails, not text messages, any of the emails that were admitted into evidence. Nobody saw him do it. Nobody saw him type it. And nobody discussed any of the emails with him, but the SJC cited a long-standing rule, including Rule of Evidence 901B1, 4, evidence may be authenticated by direct or circumstantial evidence. And the circumstantial evidence is essentially what we covered here in court today: the appearance of the electronic communications, the content, the substance, internal patterns, or other distinctive characteristics. Commonwealth versus Welch, it was a murder case where a boyfriend killed his girlfriend, was charged with killing his girlfriend, was convicted. The Commonwealth sought to introduce text messages between them, and various text messages from the victim's cell phone were admitted into evidence because, for one reason, they referenced the defendant's distinctive nickname. And in this case, we have a text chain with 3 nicknames, all of whom the witness recognized as being his friends. We have more to authenticate this text chain than in any case I have seen, and also more than in any case the Commonwealth has cited.
So just to fill you in, he just cited Commonwealth versus Purdy 2011. The core holding of that ruling was that a witness's bias, motive, or hostility is always relevant and admissible. The court has no discretion, Judge Bev, you have no discretion to exclude evidence that fairly tends to show that a witness is biased or has an interest in the outcome. That's not a guideline. That's black letter law in Massachusetts. Purdy explicitly states evidence of a witness bias or motive in testifying is never collateral and may not be excluded on that ground. The judge has no discretion to exclude such evidence. So Canoni's entire shtick here, where she's flipping the burden and claiming it's speculative or prejudicial, whatever she's claiming, is literally forbidden under Purdy. So Yannetti is laying the groundwork here for an appeal because she's a bitch, basically, and that's what he has to do.
In this case, we have an identification.
Sorry, Kev.
I was going to say I think she's going to allow it. I don't think she can deny it. It's just Brennan going through it.
I think she knows she's boxed in. She always knows when she's boxed in. She's sneaky cunt. Oh.
Yeah.
Oh.
Is that with a hard T?
With a hard U. No, it is with a hard T. But Proctor isn't a witness unless someone calls him. No, but the text messages are. So the dude that just got off the stand is a witness to the text messages. So because he's part of the text messages. Right. So let's hear the rest of the argument.
Of every phone number pursuant to the last 2 digits. We have an identification of Michael Proctor's message relating to the contents. We have evidence of the witness's cell phone requiring a passcode, meaning that in order for his phone to be active in this chain, he would have had to have unlocked the phone with the passcode, and he testified that what was in the content of the message that he identified as being his is consistent with something that he would have said, and not only that, but he adds a 4th nickname, that being Chip, that being Michael Proctor. The Commonwealth, with regard to Commonwealth versus Welch, which is again cited in their memorandum, this opposition, Your Honor, they state what appear to be rock solid black and white legal principles, but when you scratch below the surface and you actually read the case stands for nothing in terms of what they've represented it to be. They stated that in Welch, the court must find that each and every communication was authored by the individual member of the group. That's just plain false. The case doesn't say that at all. It's nowhere in that case. And in fact, the messages were let in, again, because of the circumstances and the content of the messages. Commonwealth versus Raposa, another case that they cite. The defense sought to call a neighbor to...
We'll come back to that one. The case that Brennan cited, but misquoted, Yannetti just called out, Commonwealth versus Welch, 1995. It's often used in bias or impeachment disputes, but very narrowly construed. What Welch actually says is a defendant has no right to cross-examine a witness on every matter that could possibly show bias. But then it says, however, the trial judge must allow reasonable cross-examination to show bias or motive to lie, and should err on the side of admitting such evidence unless prejudicial effects substantially outweighs the probative value. So even Welsh affirms that bias is relevant, bias is not collateral, and courts should err on the side of admissibility, which contradicts Purdy. Hang on, it doesn't contradict it. It reinforces Purdy, which Welch just allows some judicial discretion around collateral or repetitive bias. So it's not core impeachment like Proctor's group chat. So it doesn't fit into Welch, it fits into Purdy.
Testify that he had seen the victim alive after the defendant had confessed to having shot him, another murder case. The problem was that the neighbor denied making the statement, so the defense wanted to call the neighbor for the sole purpose of impeaching him with his prior statement that he supposedly made to the police and use that statement as substantive evidence. So in that case, the defendant wanted to use an out-of-court statement for its truth. It was rank hearsay. That case had nothing to do with text messages or statements used to show state of mind or electronic communications. But somehow it makes its way into the Commonwealth's memorandum. Commonwealth versus Rajiv R., which is the second to last case that they cite, that dealt with a search warrant done at a juvenile's home. The police officer in that case was allowed to testify to what he was seeking, which was the goal of the search warrant, a firearm allegedly in the juvenile's possession. And he was also allowed to testify to what the juvenile's mother did during the execution of the search warrant, which is she directed the police to the juvenile's bedroom. The Commonwealth cited that case to say you can't use hearsay when trying to prove a Bowden defense or present a Bowden defense. That case had nothing to do with Bowden. The evidence was admitted to explain what the police were doing in the home. So it's a situation where, there are times when, the police stop somebody on the street or the police get a search warrant and then they show up at a home. And rather than just have them magically appear at the home with the warrant, the police are allowed to give some circumstances as to how they got there. Nothing to do with Bowden. It's just giving the jury a fuller picture. Yet it was represented to you by the Commonwealth that, geez, this is a Bowden issue and you can't use hearsay to present a Bowden defense. Commonwealth versus Sullivan, exact same situation. Testimony was admitted about DNA on evidence matching the defendant's DNA from a national database. The Commonwealth cites three principles. It's almost like they're setting a standard down that the court is supposed to follow with three factors. But again, none of the three principles that the Commonwealth cites is found in Sullivan at all. They're not even mentioned in the case. They're simply made up and put in a memo to ask this court to do something that the case does not support. And again, it has nothing to do with Bowden. So now we come to the arguments about the fact that the Commonwealth is...
Before he goes on with that, the Bowden defense is completely outside of the arguments that Brennan's making. The text exchange, so Bowden basically covers, it held that a defense may present evidence of omissions, errors, and bias in the police investigation to argue that it was inadequate or intentionally skewed. This is completely different to the arguments that Brennan is using. He's trying to use Welch, which limits bias during cross, and case law on hearsay, which is irrelevant because he's the lead investigator, and collateral impeachment rulings, again, that aren't applicable when the evidence is core to the defense's Bowden claim. So that's why all of that is relevant.
Is claiming that these statements are hearsay. They're not. These statements contain insults of my client. I'll be kind and just mention the word.
So I read them.
Yes. Okay. Well, Your Honor, if you're going to allow this into evidence, I'll stop talking. Otherwise, I have to make my argument.
I understand what you mean by insults.
Okay. So I won't even mention them then. The Commonwealth is essentially arguing that we're offering these text messages to show that the insults were true. That's a silly argument. Obviously, we're not. Hearsay has three components. These are all statements out of court. None of them are offered for the truth of the matter asserted. None of them. Even the statement when Michael Proctor says that the homeowner's not going to catch any grief because he's a Boston cop. We don't know if that's true or not true. It's offered to show that Michael Proctor believes it's true. He's the lead investigator in the case. He has input into the case. He can decide who's investigated or not investigated. At least that's our argument. It's all consistent with our defense. It's offered to show his state of mind. Everything that he says is offered to show his state of mind and to show his...
Just like everything Jen McKay read out of her group text was offered to show state of mind.
Bias. He, as the lead investigator, his bias in what he does or doesn't do. And in fact, Mr. Brennan said at sidebar earlier when we started this conversation that Bowden deals with what was done or what was not done. We're entitled to explore what was not done and not done, and we're entitled to explore why. We have evidence of why. We have Michael Proctor's words about why he did or didn't interview people separately, why he waited, for instance, a year and a half to interview a plow driver who was out there on January 29th, why he treated some people with kid gloves and other people with brass knuckles. He's stating it in these text messages. She's going to go down for this. We're going to pin it on the girl. We're going to make sure that there are some serious charges. She's effed. Those are what he says about, those are the statements he makes about Karen Reed in the infancy of this investigation.
And most importantly, he was fired for all of this. So it's not even a little tiny argument, that part of it.
And to the contrary, is anything going to happen to Brian Albert? Nope. He's a Boston cop too. These are all statements about Michael Proctor's state of mind. The prosecutor and I have been over the statements. I realize he's objecting to the admission of these statements. I don't think he has a legal argument that passes muster to do that, but should the court allow them in, we're agreed on everything except for 3 entries, which I think we could deal with pretty quickly. And unless the court has questions, I'd rest on that.
No, but I'd appreciate a copy of whatever you've agreed upon.
Okay.
So it's been a long day for staff, so I don't need to sit here and go through each one. Just get me a copy of what you've agreed to.
Okay. So this is the only marked copy. I'm happy to hand it to the court.
And you can take care of it and email it in.
We'll do that. Thank you, Ron.
So, Mr. Brennan, I'd like to hear you on admissibility. I haven't decided admissibility, and I'll hear you on authentication.
Admissibility, Brennan. Do you know what admissibility means? You need to argue on admissibility. Can he do it? Can he actually bring out an admissibility?
On the first issue of authenticity, this witness has no memory of any of the text messages.
That's irrelevant.
I think it's fair to conclude he's on the text message string. He recognizes the people on it. But there is no authenticity if he doesn't recognize them. The person that could best authenticate these text messages is Michael Proctor. This witness does nothing as far as identifying the individual text messages and whether...
Wait, you want the defense to call Proctor? Is that what this is about, Hanky? You're trying to fence them in so they have to call Proctor when you didn't want to call Proctor?
Whether they're reliable, whether there's been any additions, deletions, whether in sum and substance this is part of the conversation. Notably, I think, according to the questioning by Attorney Yannetti, he's made one comment at the end of the string that really has nothing whatsoever to do with the text messages that are at issue. So authenticity, I don't believe this witness reaches that conclusion for them. Regarding admissibility, I do not dispute that in the right context, these text messages are admissible. If there is an investigator in a case that makes derogatory remarks about an accused, I can't say that doesn't go to bias, nor do I reject the idea that it shows an unfairness or a motivation. But really, you need to put that in context, and I think Attorney Yannetti highlighted that. He says that this is not hearsay, it's how he thought. or whether it affected a particular part of the investigation. It may have, it may not have. Even if he denies that it affected his investigation, it's still an appropriate question to ask just because that type of negative commentary, inappropriate commentary was made. But to explore the state of mind and put it in context, you need to ask the person that you're accusing of having the bias. Because perhaps it did affect the bias. Perhaps the person was very biased and made decisions based on that animus. Or perhaps the person made negative comments but had nothing whatsoever to do with the investigation. It is surmised to say because these comments were made, a witness was not investigated, or there was some other amorphous, undefined ill that happened. That's
Jesus Christ, what a reach. He's basically saying, well, we can't admit the text messages showing bias and misconduct because they might not reflect what he was thinking. So even though the messages are from his phone, he wrote them, they were extracted and authenticated as his, they refer to the defendant and the case, and he's the Commonwealth's own investigator. Brennan's saying it's all meaningless. That doesn't mean that's what he was thinking, but it's all him. Of course it was what he was thinking. Like, why do you need Proctor to say, yes, that's what I was thinking? What the law actually says, and this comes again from Commonwealth versus Purdy, is that a witness's bias, motive, or hostility is always relevant. The court has no discretion to exclude evidence of bias. And then you've got the Bowden defense, which is federal, and that is higher case law than the state. The texts are Proctor's own words. They reflect intent, prejudice, and emotional investment. Whether he meant them in the moment or later regrets them is for the jury to decide. Brennan doesn't get to say, yeah, we see the text, but unless he admits what he meant, you can't use them. So imagine applying that logic to like other evidence. Like, we found a murder weapon with fingerprints, but unless the defendant personally tells you what he was thinking while stabbing, it's inadmissible. Get out of here, Brennan. Get out of here.
That's the whole reason why the witness who made the comments should be confronted with the comments they made so the jury can fairly assess, is this relevant, is it material, and what is the value of it? I am not opposed to the admission of bias against a witness, especially a police officer, but it should be against that witness because they need to have the opportunity to admit, deny, define, accept, and explain. By putting these messages in with sidestepping, calling Mr. Proctor, they are trying to gain the advantage of putting information in front of the jury that has no context, suggesting it has a value that has not been defined, and then, as Mr. Yannetti just did, making an argument that because the comment was merely made, that therefore there was a consequence, and specify a consequence where there's no factual basis to conclude. Because he made a derogatory comment, he didn't investigate or speak to a plow driver for a year and a half. That defeats the purpose of defining the value for which this is being admitted. I do have some issue that it's really not under the context of Bowden, because this doesn't have to do with the adequacy of a police investigation. It has to do with bias. And that purely is the state of mind of the person who made the comment. I would not get in the way of confronting the witness about their bias if they were called to the stand. But to put it in this way invites speculation, it invites manipulation, and it invites a party on either side to portray this in a way that is not factually viable. It will be distracting, confusing for the jury, and it could be unfair for either side because it will lead to arguments about what it means without a factual basis. And so my position is I don't necessarily disagree that it's relevant, but it should come through Michael Proctor. And if the defense wants the value, they should call Michael Proctor.
Okay.
Mr. Yannetti, do you want to respond?
I know we're the hour's late, Your Honor. I won't belabor the points. I would state the following very as succinctly as I can, which is, yes, it goes to bias, but it also goes to the adequacy of the evaluation. The two concepts are intertwined. If you're biased or exhibit bias, the defense should be able to argue that the investigation was not adequate. I would note Mr. Brennan is not sitting at defense counsel table in this case. We appreciate the offer to help us with strategy about which witness we should call, but that's solely the province of the defense to determine which witness we want to use to authenticate and admit text messages. That's our choice, and we should not be deprived of that choice because Mr. Brennan thinks there's a better witness that should have introduced the text messages. There is no rule. There's no best witness rule in this case. I believe my co-counsel has already made that argument in another circumstance. His arguments, Mr. Brennan's arguments, go to the weight, not the admissibility. He is fully entitled to cross-examine this witness about all of the points that he raises. And in conclusion, Your Honor, he complains that we have not called Michael Proctor. I think that's the whole impetus for this objection, so that we will call a witness that they do not have confidence in to call themselves. It's unheard of in a murder case that you don't call the lead investigator, but that's what's happened in this case. We should not be forced to call Michael Proctor so that Mr. Brennan can then cross-examine him and lead him through basically his entire closing argument. He is entitled to call Mr. Proctor in rebuttal. He has every right to call Mr. Proctor again. I would rest on that. Thank you.
Okay. And just the very last thing, there's Commonwealth's motion for reciprocal discovery. Is there any objection to that?
I
Yes.
don't think you will.
It's not in compliance with Rule 14.
Okay.
We don't have any written communications with Ms. Dever, and they've asked for all oral communications to be reduced to writing, to be turned over. That's not in keeping with Rule.
All right, so you're saying two different things. So you don't, this information doesn't exist because she has not had communications with you, right?
Written communications do not exist. I'm not saying two different things. Written communications do not exist. They also ask secondarily for all oral communications to be reduced to writing. We have no obligation to do that. We have no intention.
All right, so I'll get a decision out on that before 4:30, and I'm going to do a little more research on the text messages. Want to be heard, Mr. Brennan?
I thought you were standing up, Your Honor. No.
Oh, no, okay. All right, I'll see everybody Monday morning.
Thank you.
Please.
All right, so she's deferred ruling on what's her name, Diva, and she wants to read a little. She wants to find an excuse to get away with ruling out Proctor's messages. So there you go. And the testifying order, exactly. And she's not supposed to. So where are we? ChatGPT says, if I'm on the bench, I look Brennan in the eye and say, counsel, when your own lead investigator writes messages mocking the defendant, coordinating narratives, and expressing hatred towards the defense, that's not speculative bias. That's flat out bias. And the jury has a right to see it. Whether the witness wants to testify is irrelevant to admissibility. So that's what ChatGPT would do if they were on the bench. Could you imagine? Could you imagine a trial run by AI? That would be hilarious.
That may be a good idea for a stream, actually. We could set up the trail of Ozzy Insider. Cook up some trumped-up charges against you.
Who was AJ talking about at the end? He was talking about the diva chickie. What's her name again?
Was it not Denver? No.
Kelly Diva. No, it's not Denver. You know what Buddy Hanks like was spelling?
Oh, right, okay. Okay. Yeah, I do.
No, it's Kelly Diva. So if you can hear me eating, I'm having a morning smoker here. So yes, I wonder. I don't think she can get away with the Proctor text because the it's black and white law. She has no discretion over that. She's already turned it on, flipped the Constitution on its head by making the defense defend wanting to put it in and making it admissible because it's already admissible by default. But yeah, she's already fucked up there. But I'm pretty sure she's backed into a corner. She has no choice.
Just quick.
But
your woman, Diva, she was the one, the dispatcher, wasn't it?
Kelly Diva, yeah, she was the dispatcher.
Yeah, she was.
That gave out the address 32 Fairview Road instead of 34.
Yeah, just answering Farron's mum there. She's asking a question. Yeah, not the one with the Sallyport video.
He has a lot of troubles with spelling, Dazza. Exactly. Exactly.
You're making me.
So
you're making me hungry now.
So sorry, I was eating a little pudding because it was quick and easy, and I wouldn't be crunching anyone's ear. So let's go back to the dismissal. Back all the way back through my notes. So I've got a couple of things. I might put one of them on the screen just to sort of just to explain where I'm coming from. So it's a Rule 25 motion. A motion for a required finding of not guilty. Do I have the motion? I think you sent it to me.
Which one are you looking for?
The motion to dismiss. Oh, that's not it.
Yeah, the suspicious sauce on there.
Oh, I'm on the wrong one. Give me 1 sec. I'll find it.
That was my reminder, lol. You're message to me. You'll see the link.
All right.
You got it?
I've got it.
Kula bula.
Yeah. Let's go over here. Let's hit the share this tab. Did it work? Okay, it's actually cooperating today. So now comes Karen Reid, the defendant, in the above captioned matter, and respectfully moves this honourable court, pursuant to Mass Criminal Rule 25, to enter a required finding of not guilty on the above referenced indictments before this court. As grounds, therefore, the defendant states that the evidence taken in the light most favourable to the Commonwealth is insufficient as a matter of law to prove these indictments beyond a reasonable doubt. So we have notes on this. Rule 25 is basically saying they haven't met their burden of proof. That's the basic idea behind it. Everyone knows what one of these are, I guess. So in Massachusetts, the defense can move for a required finding when the Commonwealth has rested its case. The judge must allow it if no rational jury could find the defendant guilty beyond a reasonable doubt on the evidence presented. So basically, it's not about credibility or who the jury believes. It's about whether the facts and inferences even if taken in a light most favorable to the prosecution, actually establishes a crime. So basically, the defense is asserting, with their receipts in hand, there's no direct evidence that Karen struck John O'Keefe with her SUV. The medical evidence contradicts the theory of an outdoor death by vehicular trauma, and some of the data does as well. The Lexus crash data, lack of blood on the SUV or the taillight shards, and a lack of matching glass from the back of the vehicle or plastic don't support the prosecution's claim. Every eyewitness has either been impeached, contradicted by physical evidence, or exposed as bias. Hello, Proctor. And even assuming their timeline is correct, which it isn't, the Commonwealth's own evidence doesn't logically or scientifically support guilt. So they're saying even if you believe everything they just presented, it doesn't legally add up to proof of murder or manslaughter or even leaving the scene. Those are the three things that she's charged with. So what are the judge's options? She can grant the motion, case dismissed before the jury sees anything else, and Karen walks, but we already know she denied it. She did deny it. The trial continues to the defense case, but now the ruling becomes immediately appealable if there is a conviction. If Canoni denies it, despite the gaping holes in the prosecution's theory, she'll be writing the first paragraph of the appellate brief herself. So let me put this little thing on the screen for you. Here, this basically sums it up, what we are looking at as far as the requirements versus her ruling. So let's hit that button and check you all can see it. There we go. Okay, so what about if the lawyers for the Commonwealth themselves don't believe it? That they're not the ones that get to choose, but it's the jury that gets to choose. So this point here is there enough for the jury to choose? So is there enough that a reasonable jury could believe their case? So the evidence must be sufficient to support each element of the offence. That's the requirement. The law demands the judge must determine whether any rational juror could find a guilt beyond a reasonable doubt, assuming the prosecution's version of events is true. What the Commonwealth actually presented is the cause of death remains unproven. No witness saw an impact. The forensic pathologist presented no definitive evidence of vehicular trauma. The medical examiner admitted the injuries were not consistent with being struck or run over. And let me also add, while we're going through this list, I would like to have seen it in the defense's motion to point all this out. But anyway, all the inferences must be reasonable and based on the evidence presented. The prosecution can have gaps, but the missing parts must be inferable from the facts in evidence, not from speculation. So the state's case is built on speculation. They infer an SUV strike from injuries that don't match, lacking any blood, vehicle damage, or EDR event data. Even if Karen was at Fairview, which we know she was, she doesn't deny that she was, there's no evidence showing she struck anyone. So the physical evidence must support the charges, I'll say, because there's multiple charges. If the charge is murder or manslaughter by motor vehicle, the prosecution must show how the injury occurred. Because they don't actually have any crash data, they have no impact evidence, and the injuries contradict vehicular strike, the Lexus shows no crash event, no bumper deformation, no injury or trace evidence, no panel damage, glass fragments on the back of it didn't match, and the state's timeline defies physics. The requirement witness testimony must establish a coherent theory of guilt. What the law demands is that witnesses can contradict each other, but there must be a version of events that actually makes legal and factual sense. What the Commonwealth actually presented was key witnesses like McCabe and the Alberts contradict each other, change timelines, or have been impeached. That's right, Lally changed the timeline. No single narrative holds up under scrutiny. Several admitted that they didn't actually see what they initially claimed and lied to the federal government. Motive and opportunity as a requirement. It has to be sufficient without proof of act. Mens rea is guilty mind, and I forget what the other one is the guilty act.
Mens rea.
What's the other word I'm looking?
Mens rea.
Mens rea. No, mens rea is the guilty mind, but the other one is mens. Why has it jumped out of my fucking head? I'll come back to it. But the guilty act is not, it's another mens, but it's not rea. Reus. Thank you. It says it right there in the next column. Actus reus. Mens rea and actus reus. Sorry, I fucked that up. Fucking Latin. Even if the defense had reason to be angry or was present at the scene, the Commonwealth must prove the actus reus, like the physical act or the guilty act. The actual crime occurred. The prosecution assumes motive and presence equals guilt. Well, that's all they have proved so far, that she could have had motive and she actually was there. There is no proof Karen struck John, no mechanical evidence, no eyewitness to the act. The shoe, phone, and body location don't logically align with their theory. There's a lot that doesn't align, but just to name a few. 25 requirement, the Rule 25 requirement, evidence must exclude reasonable alternative explanations. And 3 of their own witnesses have now testified to reasonable alternate explanations. 3 of their own medical witnesses have said they've seen these kind of injuries in a drunk just falling over and smacking their head on the floor. So Rule 25 assumes the jury must not be able to reasonably conclude somebody else did it or that no crime occurred. The defense has shown, and then what the Commonwealth presented was the defense has shown plausible third-party culpability, dog attack, basement assault, body staging. Well, they haven't shown that yet. We're at the point of their side of it being shown. So supported by physical evidence, stair-step logging, injuries from multiple trauma types, blood flow evidence inconsistent with freezing, and so on. So that's where we are at. We're at the point where I don't think the judge has any choice. I'm sorry, we're on a different motion. I just flipped off and back to the other motion, but no, the judge has denied this. So she's denied it and she's made it instantly appealable. So for these reasons, because what the Commonwealth actually presented is not sufficient to support each element of the charged offences, essentially. So Ockham rolling in his grave saying, F me then. Right. So there we go. That's where we stand currently. Any other reminders, Kevy, that I've forgotten? Oh, you're going to call it a night. All right. Kevy's out, boys and girls.
Well, there was just that one link that I put in the chat there for the Enrique Delgado Garcia case.
Oh, Enrique. Okay.
It's not really new news, I don't believe. Might be.
They're calling for a grand jury.
Apparently, the grand jury's been working quietly, unbeknownst to people, for the last week or two.
Does that mean that they're going to lay charges?
They're going for it by the looks of it. If they've convened the grand jury and the grand jury's operating, that means that they're pressing ahead.
Yeah, I can't read the article because it's paywall.
Yeah, I've tried multiple searches to try and find another article from another publication, but I can't find anything.
So if it's going to a grand jury, then they have a culprit.
Well, they'll present
that
the
they're gonna
evidence.
lay
They'll present the evidence to the grand jury if the old saying ham sandwich. You can indict a ham sandwich. So, but it's great news. At least there's movement on it.
Technically, Matty DeSogra is the clock daddy. I like it. He's going to be one of the daddies. He's definitely a crash daddy. He's one of the crash daddies, I reckon. But not the clock daddy. Definitely a crash daddy. What do you reckon, Kevy?
Yeah, clock daddy. Yeah, there was a lot of women in chat that I was in today, and they were swooning over him. Personally, I don't see it. I see Dr. Wolf all right. I can see the attraction there, but not with not with the sugar.
Well, I wasn't talking about his attractiveness. I was just talking about he's a crash daddy. Like, okay, he didn't build a cannon.
As soon as you put the daddy, you're making it, and you're hinting at it. You know, cute ass. That's it.
No, they're not.
That's it, corn pope. Yeah.
I guess so. When you think, where it sort of all started from, which was Muffin Mummy.
Yeah. Anyway,
you probably could be right there.
It's
he's adorable. There you go. Corn Pope's voted.
He was adorable. To be fair, he was a lovely lad on the stand. I think the jury would love him. Which is
everyone type a 1 in the chat who thinks DeSogra. Actually, type a 1 if you think DeSogra's a crash daddy, or 2 if you think Dimples is the crash daddy.
There is only one crash daddy, and that's Dimples. I'm sorry.
It's Dimples.
Yeah.
I've deemed David the defense daddy. You can't tell me it's not hot.
I'll take that card, Pope. Thank you.
I don't know. I gotta argue with Kylie because I did actually think that David was the defense daddy until Alessi came on the scene. I found out he's older than me and he still looks better than all of us.
I wonder, am I mod daddy, corn pop?
Dude's got smoke and guns, man.
Who's that?
Do you see him and Will showing their guns? I couldn't believe it. I was like, get out of here. This guy's nearly 70. No way.
Oh, Alessi. Oh, Jesus, yeah.
Yeah, Alessi. Yeah. He's got bigger guns than Will has.
There's a great photograph. Somebody put up a poster. I came across it as I was scrolling, of Alessi at the back of the car, and he has the 2 hands out as if he's pushing the crowd back. And the caption is, the caption is, "Stand back, ladies. I'm already spoken for."
Let me see if I can find Will's post. What is he again? The Glarer?
The Glarer.
T-Glarer.
Right.
Yeah, T-Glarer.
I'm going to slide along, as the man says. It's 2 o'clock here in the morning. Starting to fade.
No worries. Thanks for helping us out today.
Not at all. Good night.
You definitely helped with my brain deadness. I wasn't sure I was going to pull a live stream together today.
Well, 2 half brains makes a brain, you know.
That's what I was thinking.
Yeah.
We pulled it off, buddy.
All right. Listen, good night, Ozzy. Good night.
Good night. Thanks for joining us.
All right. Take care. God bless.
All right. I'll put this. I will put Alessi's guns on the screen for those who don't have. For those who don't have social media. There you go. What do you reckon, girls? I wasn't expecting that. Because he hides it all well under his suit, right? No comments? Gary's like, what the fuck? Thug daddy for BA. Good on you, Michelle. Oh, that's so funny. Hilarious. What do you reckon, ladies? Alessi's one of the daddies? Or do we award it to... Yeah, do we award it to Yannetti still? 67 corn pope. That's what I heard. That's the rumor. 60 bloody 7. That's the rumor, and he's almost like he's definitely got a little bit more. What would you call it? More muscular shape. I don't know what you call it. He's more chiseled, let's say, than Will. A lot of roids. No, it's not roids. Chiseled was the word I was looking for. Tone. No, chiseled. Amazing for his age. The cross daddy. I forget what I dubbed him. I did a video. Hang on. What did I dub him? Hang on, shut that one. Shut that one. Fucking shut all these freaking windows that I got open. I dubbed him. This is the dream team, right? David Yannetti's the architect. Robert Alessi is the technician. Liza Little, the disruptor. Alan Jackson. Wait, I went too fast. Alan Jackson's the closer. Whoops. And then, Marty Weinberg's the enforcer. So there you go. It is. It's pretty good for an old fella, right? So I would have guessed late 40s. I know. That's why I never commented on it before, because I thought, shit, he's not much younger than, not much older than my kids. I can't be commenting. Then I found out his actual age. I was like, okay, I can comment now. You dubbed him Chuck Norris's successor. Brawn and brains, exactly, duck. The full package. So I don't know. I fell in love with his binders first before I even saw his guns. The binders he had me at binders. He had me at all of the color coded tabs in his binders. When Bob Alessi slices onions, the onions cry. That's funny. Yeah. So there you go, guys. That's the amazing Mr. Alessi without his suit jacket on. So I know about the onions, but he made me cry. The polite assassin, Coke Fairy says. He's the polite assassin. He's very technical, and he's definitely the technician of the crew, right? Alessi Guns Daddy. No, he's definitely 67. He is definitely 67. So, amazing. Amaze balls. All right, Kevy's gone to bed. It's time for me to wrap up. Bob Alessi doesn't need a dictionary. The dictionary needs a Bob Alessi. Just remember that song, Mr. Doubleina, Mr. Bob Doubleina. My dad's brother was named Bob. He passed away now, but how normally, because his name's Robert, so most of the family would call him Robert, but his nickname was Bob, and that's what you normally do with a nickname. You shorten it down to short and easy, but not me. Mine was always Mr. Bobbleina, Mr. Bobbleina, Bob Dobbleina. Can't even say it. Okay. The fourth question is strong in this one. Hey, Sua Sponde, how's it going? I'm mesmerized by watching his beautiful brain in action. Me too, Duck. Me too. He had me at the coloured binder tabs. He had EDB at those two. I love a man with coloured binder tabs. Kelly says, my dad was also a Bob, born the same year. Also looks very young for his age. He does have one grey hair. Wow. He does not have one grey hair. Man, greys are getting away on me, and I'm nowhere near his age. I've already got a whole front section of greys now. It's already close to salt and pepper. Pitch it at the tail light with a potato cannon. DeSogra is Data Daddy. All right. Dimples and Rentschler are the one and only Crash Daddies. Alessi is a walking thesaurus. And Jackson brings the spice. I got to think on you, Nettie and Little. Because you aren't on social media, you haven't seen my little superheroes montage of them all, have you? So interesting. All right, we're done, guys. We've been here 3 hours. That's plenty of hours. We did our rant. We did our discussions. We've pulled Bev's arms and legs and wings off to watch her writhe around on the floor. We could call it a day. Good night, Kevy. Thanks for joining us. Good night, Michelle. Thanks for modding for me tonight. Today, it's night time for some of them, but it's this morning for us. I went white hair at 33. There you go. Good times. Good night, Corn Pope. Oh, my God, my mouth is so backwards today. Lovely, Sue Sponte. I'm glad you do. If the canine's back, you just caught the end of the stream. If the trial goes to a mistrial again, grr, maybe we should offer Hank and Alessi to go in the UFC ring for 5 minutes. Hey, let's throw Bev in also. What a good idea. What a good idea, Nate. All right. It's time for me to rest my poor, tied-up little tongue. I can't do much more. I don't even know how I got my brain in gear with only one coffee today. But here we are. Let's get some music up. Let's get some music on the rack. Far out. I lost everything. I closed all the tabs when I was trying to sort out my audio issue. Messed it all up. Where we be? Gotta wait for some ads because these bastards struck me for an ad yesterday. So let's get past the ads first. And we'll close out with one that I've got a video clip for to make it interesting to watch. Replace screen sharing. I might have done it in the wrong tab. I did. Here we go, guys. Raise Some Hell, this song is called. We'll see you tomorrow. What is it? Saturday? No, we will see you Monday, guys.
Five balls popcorn! 5 balls popcorn! 5 balls popcorn! Cases niggas stealing now. Living in a world where we shout. Lockdown, she cries for release. Hopes buried, but she won't cease. Chains clatter against broken dreams. Blood and tears in repressive streams. Struggle burning in her eyes. Justice cries while freedom tries. Free Carrie, sound the alarm bell. Fight the fight, the race some hell. Free Carrie, break the chains now. She won't rest till she's free somehow. Crowds gather in the midnight heat. Voices rising in the dirty street. No more silence, freedom's plea. Hands united for Carrie's decree. hands and the lips of flame. Free Karen Lee, sound the alarm bell. Fight the fight, gonna raise some hell. Free Karen Lee, break the chains now. She won't rest till she's free somehow. Free Karen Lee. Crowds gather in the midnight heat, voices rising in the dirty street. No more silence, freedom's plea. Hands united for Karen's decree.